Sugar.
Three, two, one, and we're live. Sugar Sean and Tim Welch, your friend that you brought with you here today.
Friend, teammate, coach,
Both
brother.
of you from Montana. Montana people. It's good. It's a good place.
Yeah, it is, but for what we do, it's not the best place.
Yeah, how much training can you get in Montana? It's not the best spot. Like when I was there 2 years ago, pheasant hunting with Anthony Bourdain, and that guy is such a maniac. He trains everywhere he goes every day, and he found some club, some local jiu-jitsu club in Montana, in Bozeman. He was rolling with people.
Brian Dietz. Probably.
Yeah, Bozeman's probably one of the better places to train, but the one thing good about being from Montana is when we're in Phoenix, it's like a big process getting a fight. Sugar, how many amateur fights you have?
Yeah, I had 14 MMA fights, amateur MMA fights, 4 kickboxing, couple boxing. It was every weekend. I could
In
fight
Montana?
every weekend. Yeah.
So Montana people just angry, just want to fight.
You
We
can
just like to fight.
you
They're
can
just
sign
men.
up that week and fight, so you can get a ton of
commission.
fights. No commission.
No commission. Oh,
so you
that's
fight.
good. So it's a manly place, that Montana.
Yeah,
It is. It's quite manly. I mean, you guys have grizzly bears and shit. Lots
Oh,
of elk,
yeah.
elk,
Yep.
grizzly bears, wolves. You know, I was there 2 summers ago. I went and just was like, man, I need to figure out a way. I'd spend more time here. I was in Bozeman.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck,
Nice, huh?
man. It's beautiful.
Hell yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fucking stunning.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I enjoy being away from there right now just because I grew up there.
Right.
Being in Phoenix is like, I don't want to be anywhere else. I love being in Phoenix. The training there is insane.
Yeah, where we're at, Phoenix is like the fucking mecca, man. Like, we get to train with Augusto Mendez, Taquino every day. Like, he beat Hoffa Mendez, he beat Cabrino, he beat Ryan Hall. He's
Yeah.
beat all these people, and almost every mile there's a really good gym, like boxing gym, jiu-jitsu gym, wrestling gym. Henry
Right.
Cejudo has a club there. The MMA lab with John Crouch, like where we train.
Yeah.
There's killers everywhere.
Yeah, that's one of the best spots in the world for sure. Phoenix is, there's a few hotbeds for MMA. Obviously, LA is a big one. Miami's a big one. Phoenix is a fucking huge one
Yeah.
too, though.
Yeah, the lab, like, it's a different type of gym than a lot of other gyms. I haven't seen many gyms like stay together, and I think a big reason is because of John Crouch. He's like one of the best facilitators out there. He keeps everyone together. If you don't show up to practice, he'll text you and say, "Hey, where are you at? We got to get our priorities straight." And like he really holds everyone accountable, and I think that's why it makes it a really good, strong place.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite coaches. He's just a super no nonsense guy. Never blows his own horn. Not looking for any attention, and absolutely knows his shit. Like when you hear him in the corner, he knows his shit.
Yeah, he's good to have there in the corner, man. He just be the leader kind of everything and look over everything. And like he brought up Benson from when he was a small, like just
beginning,
starting. So
yeah.
it's like we're lucky to be able to learn after that and then be around Benson in the room. Like he's got a work ethic like no other. Like
Is
no
Benson
other.
still joining the military? I heard he was thinking about joining the military.
I think he's too old now.
Is he?
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's too old.
I
He's
don't know.
34.
I remember hearing about that too.
How old? What is the limit? I thought you could join the military like up to like 36
I
or
feel
something.
like once you get across a certain age, they have to make an exception for you.
I'm
Oh.
sure he'd make that
But, yeah.
exception.
Yeah.
He's an
He's
animal.
a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We're lucky to be around him. Like the work ethic he brings in the room is like no other. Like 2-2 wrestling drilling, I feel like he'd break any man on this planet.
Jeez,
like
he's an
he'll
animal.
put the pace on you, and it's pretty cool to learn from. We're lucky to see it every day.
Yeah, I mean, that is one of the most important like, there's a bunch of important qualities in a fighter, right? Being able to perform under pressure, creativity. Creativity is big. I think that's one of the places that you excel. You really excel in creativity. Like, when I watch you fight, I'm like, this kid's fucking around out there. Like, you're having fun. You're flowing. You know, when you were telling me today, we were doing a little practicing, you were saying that you were doing some stuff in fights where you just thought of it. Like, while you were doing it, you just felt like doing it. Like, there's people that can do that, and there's people that never do that.
Right.
You know, when they're in the fight, they're tightened up, and they're fucking sticking to the script, and maybe even sticking to, like, the real basics, you know? Like, barely even speaking in sentences.
Right.
You know what
I think a lot of people think too much when they're in there, and it's easier to say. I feel like when I'm in there, I'm reacting. I'm letting all my training take over. I'm not really thinking. I'm just reacting to what they're doing, and I think that it helps me do what I've been doing, is just reacting to certain situations, and I just feel like I'm on a step ahead of them. Whoever I'm fighting, I feel like I'm a step ahead of them.
He's really good at like the greater the chaos, the calmer he becomes, and that's the truth. The brighter the lights are, the more he's shining and completely calm. And before that last fight against Andre, we watched probably 4 of Connor's fights right before we walked to the arena. And Sugar's sitting there zoning in on those fights, watching the way he walks out, watching the way he's good with his energy, smart with his energy. And you can really see it in the fight, the way he mimics them. And Sugar can watch someone do something, and he can do it right away. It's a really cool talent.
Yeah, before the last couple fights, before we go to the arena, we just throw on Fight Pass, watch Connor, watch him walk out, watch him, his body language. And he's the man. I love Connor. I've always loved Connor since I remember watching his first fight against, what was his first, like, Max Holloway? Was that his first one in the UFC?
In the UFC, yeah.
I remember watching him, and I'm like, that dude's going to be good.
I think that was his first fight. He blew his ACL out in that fight.
Yep.
Maybe that wasn't his first. Maybe,
I don't think it was.
Brimage? No.
Might have been Marcus Brimage.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Brimage?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He stopped Brimage, and then he blew his ACL out. I want to say in the first round against Holloway,
That's
and then
right,
he started controlling him on the ground and taking him down. But that was a very young Max Holloway too. You know, you're dealing with Holloway when I think he was like 20 or something.
Serious?
Like that.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah,
That was-
super young.
He's a beast.
Fuck, he's a beast.
Max is he's cool. I remember he came down to the lab once. We just kind of played around, sparred, but I'm excited for that. He's fighting Ortega next, July 7th. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
I'm hoping I can get in there. Hope we can get some tickets. That's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, dude, I'll hook you up. He's fascinating to me, Max, because he's just this guy that, like, I knew he was really good, and then he kept getting better and kept getting better. I'm like, where's the ceiling on this guy? And then you saw in the Aldo fight when he beat Aldo the first time, and then the second time. And the second time, you're like, Jesus Christ. Like, you really don't know how good a guy is. Like, you see them in a fight and you go, wow, he's really good. But then you don't see him for a while and you're like, is he better? Has he slipped? Is he training hard? Like, where is he at? Like, you don't know until you see him again. And then when I saw him in that second Aldo fight, I'm like, Jesus, he's so much better than he was before. Yeah. He yelled at the end of the first round. He looked over at us and he goes, the man's tired. Like, at the end of the first round, I was like, Jesus.
That's awesome.
And Aldo was throwing bricks at him. He was really throwing hard in that first round to try to, like, establish some distance.
At all?
I mean, he hit him with some shots, but he hits hard, but he didn't rock him. You know,
How
Aldo,
many times has Max lost?
He's only lost, well, in the UFC, he lost to Dennis Bermudez
Connor.
somewhere early in his career. He lost to Connor. I think he only has 2 or 3 losses in his career. 3? 3 losses. Who are they 2? Does it say?
And Dustin Poirier.
Dustin Poirier.
Oh,
When
Poirier
did he lose
beat
to
him.
Dustin?
His first one, 2012.
Oh, yeah.
Poirier
Okay.
is good. I
very
love
good.
watching him
He's very
fight.
good.
That fight against Gaethje, I watched it live. That was.
Woo, that was crazy.
He's a good. I thought that was kind of how that was gonna go. He was gonna outbox him. He was throwing some good combos.
Justin's leg kicks are a motherfucker, but he takes too many shots. He's so intent on breaking people and just keeping that pressure on you that, I mean, he's a fucking really good wrestler.
Oh yeah.
And you never see any of it in his fights.
I think he posted something that he's going to kind of switch up his game plan a little bit.
Did he say that?
Yeah, I think he did. But then he also said he might only have 5 more fights left. If he
Well,
keeps
if he
fighting
fights
with
that
style.
way, yeah. I mean, he's just fucking chaos. It's
Yeah.
just he's a berserker. But it's so fun to watch him. It's like you don't want to say anything to him.
Pure entertainment.
You know? I mean,
real.
fuck yeah. He's the Eddie Alvarez fight and the Dustin Poirier fight. But they're so similar in a way that he, like, almost gets the guy with his leg kicks. Almost breaks him with those leg kicks. And then he got caught. But it worked in the Michael Johnson fight. So it's like when you see it in the Michael Johnson fight, when you see, like, Johnson's leg just starting to give out.
We watched watch him fight Luis Palomino in LFA. Was it LFA?
It was
Series.
World
World
Series
Series.
back
That's
then,
right.
yeah.
We watched that. He's gnarly to watch live.
And he kicks low from real close, man.
Generates a lot of power.
Yeah, he's literally tying up with you, and he's chopping down with low kicks. He's
Yeah.
got real loose hips with that, you
Yeah.
know? He's able to really bend his body and chop down.
Nice, tight, high guard, waiting for him
Yeah.
to come in.
He fucks people's legs up, man.
He
Yeah, he's
does.
tougher and shit.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you see guys like that, like, when they start to get beat, you wonder if they're going to start use those losses as informative or
Right.
demoralizing, start to defining themselves and then start questioning themselves. That's why with Sugar in training and in a fight, even in training, like he'll find the toughest guys to go with, and he won't go with those guys and be like, oh, they're better than me, and start defining himself. He'll just use it as informative and learn from it. So it's like, it's another good mentality. He has super positive, good mentality, and I think a lot of that comes from eating good and having the right rest and hydrating and eating good year round, not just eating good during fight camps and blowing up. And I think that's a lot to do with it.
For sure.
Living the lifestyle, just eating healthy, like you said, all year round, not just getting healthy for 6 weeks and then eating like shit after and getting injured. Once I really started learning about eating healthy, a ton of small little injuries went away. My back would hurt every morning.
What were you doing wrong before? Like, what were you eating?
Pop-Tarts, like
sugar.
fucking just anything shitty. I didn't know Hot Pockets, Top Ramen, any all that stuff that I was just raised eating, you know. And once I started realizing what that stuff's doing to my body and how I could feel it, it changed my whole mindset. And like, eating healthy was one of the biggest things that improved my skills as a fighter. I feel like, just as far as my mental thoughts, my training sessions were so much better.
Were you just saying that you eat a lot of sardines?
No, I said I ate some sardines last night, and then I had some this morning.
That is a very good food.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
They are, yeah.
Dude, we're so lucky to have the internet and podcasts and be able to learn from guys like you, Dr. Andy Galpin, like Aubrey Marcus, Tim Ferriss, like
Chris Kresser. You ever listen to some of the episodes with Chris Kresser? Fantastic on information, fantastic information on nutrition. You know, I mean, there's so many guys like that. Rob Wolf. You know, so many people that are like at the cutting edge of performance and diet. And you know, Rob Wolf is interesting too, because he experiments himself with his own body quite a bit, and talks about it online. And he's getting really heavily into jiu-jitsu right now, and he does a lot. I mean, he's really interesting too, because he does a lot of ketogenic stuff, but really adds way more carbs on jiu-jitsu days. And I had Zach Bitter on. Zach won the was it the American record for 24 hours? It's American record for running 24 hours, the most amount of miles in 24 hours. He's a fucking beast.
How many did he run?
What did he run? Like,
he ran 24 hours straight? Yeah. What?
Yeah.
A full day of running?
That's where we're trying to find the balance, though. Like, we're eating.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
On days that we're not training, we're trying to do keto, so we're just keep the inflammation down in our body. But
this Bitter guy that I was just gonna say, he's a full keto guy. He mostly eats meat, but on days when he broke the U.S. 100-mile record. That's what it was. 7 minutes per mile for 12 hours. That's the record.
That's insane.
That's right.
What a badass.
Oh, he's a fucking savage.
I wonder what his mental thoughts are running. I wonder if he's just in the now, just going.
He's just got to be in a trance. But he, on days where he's running, he way ramps up his carbs. So, like, you know, the average person is trying to keep their carbs within like 50 grams or 75 grams to stay keto. You got to recognize that for extreme requirements like physical activity, ramp that shit up. So I was going to say that Rob Wolf is really experimenting a lot with that. You can follow him on Instagram. He's big up on that.
Yeah, like we listen to a lot of Ben Greenfield too, so it's
he's
like
fantastic.
When we're not training, we're listening to you guys. It's like we're treating you guys like a college. Like, your guys is our college, and then we're going to our jiu-jitsu, learning from Taquinho, going to learn from John Crouch, and like, I don't know. I feel like we're on a really good track, especially for Sugar.
Now, how do you guys know each other? How'd you guys meet?
Ooh, good story.
I was going to commentate, and I was with Bellator at the time, and going back to Montana to commentate for some fights. And
what were you doing for Bellator?
Fighting for them. Yeah, and I went to commentate some local fights up there, and I saw Sean. He was
I was 18.
18 at the time, and I saw him. I was like, damn, that kid submitted a wrestler in the first round, and I knew at his gym he doesn't wrestle. I'm like, that kid's got some good talent. So I invited him down after I went up to him, and I said, hey, dude, you can stay on my couch for a little bit and come check out the gym. Kind of figured he wouldn't.
I remember he told me that. I was so jacked, because I knew Tim. I seen him on TV. I didn't meet him personally, but I seen him on Bellator. He's on the Fight Master show. And after my fight, we were at the Sting bar, like a local bar, and he came up to me and he offered me that. I think I called you the next day. I'm like, hey, dude, yeah, I want to come down. We figured it out. I think I came down a few weeks later, months later. I came down for 10 days, and it was one of the biggest ass whooping I've ever got in my life. I remember
when we were driving from the airport, he was talking. He's like, yeah, me and you were going to the top. I'm like, this kid has no idea what he's about to get himself into, taking him to the pro practice with all the people. Because as soon as you get on the team, everyone fucking hammers on you. They hammers on you, they beat you, they break you down mentally to see if you're going to come back.
So I was there for a full week. So Monday is striking day, Tuesday is wrestling. I literally did not know how to wrestle. I didn't know what a single leg was. Did not know anything about wrestling. I remember a good group of people just whooped me bad. I remember crying, leaving practice.
Did you wrestle in high school at all?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
And what part of Montana are you from?
Helena, the capital. But yeah, I boxed a little bit, but I never wrestled. Didn't really grapple. I remember I knew an arm bar off my back. It was the only thing I knew, and that's what I caught that wrestler in. I caught him in an arm bar. I was like, holy shit, I just did that. But anyway, I came down, got beat up bad for a week. Went back to Montana. Saved up $2,000, packed my car, drove down. He was living with his girlfriend at the time. We stayed there for 2 weeks, and then we got an apartment. And I'd only known Tim a little bit, but we got an apartment close to the lab, and I just literally went every single day, twice a day.
When he first showed up, I smoked some weed in the night, and he was so taken back. He's like, holy shit. He looked up to me, couldn't believe that I was doing that drug.
That you smoked weed?
My dad's a detective in Montana, and I was raised like, weed's not good. Like, that's what was going through my mind. I thought it was bad, like really bad.
We'd have debates about it, too.
Oh, yeah. I remember he came down.
Montana is one of the few places that went backwards with weed.
Yeah.
They had medical marijuana in Montana, and now they're removing it. They're removing all the stores. When I was there, they were having some sort of a closeout sale because they were getting shut down. I don't know if that's since been amended or fixed.
I don't know. That sucks, though.
And when he moved in, I was like, okay, this kid's fucking pissing me off. He's not picking up his shit. He's not doing his dishes. He eats like shit.
My mom did all that for me.
And I'm like, okay, I either could get pissed off and kick him out, but then I realized I'm like, he doesn't even know. So I'm going to work with him. I'm going to try to treat him like my little brother and help him. And he was willing to like kind of follow along, and then he started slowly starting to eat better, started to eat spinach, and his back problem started to go away. And
what kind of back problem?
My back would always hurt. It was always inflamed, always. I don't know what it was.
Did you get it looked at?
I remember getting it looked at. My mom
lower back.
It was nothing. It was literally from eating shitty food. It's just all the inflammation from all the shitty food I was eating, and I didn't know that at the time. I remember my mom took me in. They're like, "Oh, your back's fine," but it hurt so bad always. I started eating more anti-inflammatories. I started making shakes with spinach and almond milk and blueberries and chia seeds. I started eating healthier, and I slowly noticed, like, oh, I feel better. I started getting more into eating healthier. I remember just recently, I ate a vegan diet for 6 months, and the people on Instagram hate me now that I don't eat vegan diet anymore. I get messages.
When you go off vegan diet, man, that's like when you become a Muslim apostate.
Seriously.
They want death to you.
Yeah, because I've been posting pictures. Like, I posted a picture of, I got this grass-fed beef jerky from Whole Foods yesterday. Got probably 30, 40 messages. Why aren't you vegan anymore? Or just me, like, people, they're mad at me for not eating a vegan diet anymore. But I always say, like, I ate that vegan diet for 6 months, but I incorporated eggs into it because I wasn't eating enough. But I never felt bad. I didn't feel worse. I just didn't feel great. Once I started eating good quality meat again, I felt my energy levels. I'd wake up, my energy levels were way higher. I just felt more aggressive. I felt more like manly.
Vegans right now are getting angry.
In the contenders,
vegans, I'm
triggered.
Oh yeah, in the contenders.
I know, he lost me.
The Contender Series fight, he weighed 138 pounds. He was a vegan at that time.
I walked
sickly, like skinny.
There's more to that too than just the vegan diet. I had a concussion, a bad concussion, 3 weeks out from that fight against Alfred in the Contender Series. I remember waking up in the middle of the night puking. I couldn't train. I remember I even woke up with a little headache going into the fight.
Do you remember what it was from?
Yeah, I was from sparring. I got hit hard, boom, and I remembered, I'm like, fuck. But I knew this is a huge opportunity. I liked the matchup. I knew I just had to go out there and perform. But yeah, I weighed in at 136, and I walked into the cage at 138. Like, it was, and you can even go back and look at that video, and I looked just unhealthy. But it all worked. Yeah, I was so skinny. I was like 138 pounds right there.
Yeah.
But I still dropped his ass.
2 weeks later, we went to hang out with our buddy Scott Holtzman in the UFC for UFC Fresno, and Dr. Andy Galpin was with him for the week. And I knew Sugar was with me. He watched What the Health, and that's what turned him vegan. So I made sure to ask Dr. Andy in front of Sugar. I said, how much would Sean benefit from eating like elk or grass-fed meat? twice a week. He's like fucking hugely. And then Sean right there made the decision. I'm gonna start.
I'm like,
eating
if this
some meat.
guy's telling, if he's this smart and he's telling me that some good quality meat's gonna benefit me, I would be stupid to not take him up on that and do that. So, and I don't regret it. I feel so good eating meat again. I feel way stronger.
It's hard when you see those documentaries, and also you get a lot of positive reinforcement from other vegans that are very happy that you're vegan.
Yeah.
They love that you joined the team. And look, people want to be healthy, and for the most part, eating vegetables is very healthy. The problem is there's a lot of nutrients that you're going to really have to search for if you're just eating plants. And the protein is not as bioavailable. The amino acids are not as bioavailable. It's very hard to get vitamin B without supplementation. There's a lot of shit that you're just not going to get. And they like bang for your buck in terms of like the amount of nutrients that you get in like a small grass-fed steak versus a big plate of broccoli. It's just not the same. And they don't want to admit it. And a lot of these people like those, I think those What the Health guys, I had them on when they did Cowspiracy. I think they mean well. But they are fucking true believers, and they are not trying to put together a documentary that states all the facts objectively. They're doing a vegan propaganda film, and on it debunked a shitload of the things. We had actual nutritionists analyze what they were saying, go over the studies, and they debunked a shitload of what they put in that film. That film is a propaganda film, and it gets a lot of people thinking that this is the way to go. It's going to reverse heart disease and help your body, but they get so many things wrong. The meat does not cause diabetes. Like, this is nonsense. Like, when they do these studies with people, especially like studies that they do on people that show that people that eat meat more than 5 times a week have a higher instances of heart disease and all these different things, they don't measure what else they eat. These people that are eating meat all the time are eating fries and shakes and soda, and you're not analyzing someone who eats sautéed spinach and olive oil and a piece of grass-fed beef or bison or elk or something like that. No, you're getting some asshole who's eating Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that stuff's terrible for you. It's fucking sugar and refined carbohydrates and nonsense and trans fats. All that stuff's terrible for you. If there's no studies that show that eating clean, like people have eaten for thousands of years. I mean, if meat caused cancer, 97% of the planet would have cancer. And that's the numbers that eat meat on a regular basis. It's like 95+%.
Fuck. And then those people like that are vegans, they're like, oh, I'm going to try a vegan diet. And then they're eating all these veggies, getting these nutrients that they didn't get before. And they're like, I feel fucking great.
Right, yeah.
Just get off that bullshit diet. You stop eating Jack in the Box. Sorry, Jack in the Box. Yeah, in the middle of the night, sometimes I do go to you for comfort.
Don't do it.
It's not Jack in the Box. It's just fast food, shitty food, processed food. You know, that's what the problem is. It's like people, like you were saying, like ramen. I like ramen every now and then. Fuck, it tastes good, but it's not good for you.
I couldn't eat. Yeah, just like knowing what it does to your body, knowing that you are what you eat. It's I can't cheat. I can't do it. If I know that's not gonna benefit my body, I can't eat it. It's hard for me.
What you eat,
like 100%. And
it's
I think
so simple. You know, it's such a simple phrase, but literally your body is made out of what you eat.
God, and that mouth pleasure.
I know,
fucking
for real.
mouth pleasure,
especially when
dude.
you're high.
God
It's
damn, man. Ice cream sundae with hot fudge.
Woo! Yeah.
It's so terrible for you.
But there's all these healthy. You can replace all of that with healthy stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had any keto ice cream, but I've heard good things. Some people said that there are some stevia sweetened or xylitol sweetened keto ice cream that doesn't fuck with your body.
Nice. That new Halo Top, man, has that sweetened coconut milk and stevia. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah. Well, there's stuff that you can eat that is good. And of course, fruit, you know, eating healthy fruit. I mean, look, man, a nice, delicious, ripe peach is about as fucking good as any bullshit fucking fake dessert that you're going to get anywhere.
Seriously.
We don't appreciate it because we think of it as being like a healthy choice, so you don't get that I'm being a naughty boy reward that you get from, you know, having a banana split or something.
Fuck. God, it's just not worth it. It fucks your whole night of sleep up.
Yep.
It fucks your blood sugar up. And that's the thing. It's crazy that most people don't know. They're like, God, I just eat and then I'm tired and then I just get starving again. They just don't know about those blood sugar fucking.
Yeah, the insulin spikes. And I had a regular Coke the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, for the first time in years.
How come?
Oh, just whatever. It was there. I said, I haven't had a Coke in forever. Let me have a Coke. And it was like drinking syrup,
Ew.
like this sugary. It was like felt thick when I was chugging it down. I was like,
Did it hurt your
God.
stomach?
No, but I did feel like shit after it was down. I was like, whoa,
Ooh,
I feel
fuck.
terrible. But how many people drink those fucking things every day? Every day.
First thing.
34 ounces or whatever,
Yeah.
32 ounce pop.
It's
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
It's hard because it's who you're surrounded with too. Like, fuck, dude. If you're surrounded with everyone, like, oh, come on, pussy, just have a good time, enjoy your life.
Right.
You're like, fuck it,
Right.
and then you're like,
Exactly.
Yeah. That's something like it's such a common thing. You are who you surround yourself with, but people don't. I don't know. It's like I'm so lucky that when I was surrounded myself with Tim, like he introduced me to eating healthy. I remember when I was 19, I moved to the lab. Every day we have pro practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Every day I was going to the coffee shop and reading mind gym books, like all these mental books, and we were doing it together. We were reading, constantly improving each other, wanting to get better, wanting to help each other improve, and it was so important for me to. You are who you surround yourself with, and I see people not surrounded with themselves with the best people they can be around, and
It's a trap. Yeah, it's a terrible trap. And sometimes those people that are not the best people are really fun to be around.
that's the problem.
have a hell
That's
of
a
a time.
distraction. It's like
Yeah.
what's keeping you back from wanting to be the very I want to be the best bantamweight in the world. Like what's keeping people back from wanting to be the best of them? And it's just distractions. People who are fun to be around, alcohol, even women, like certain food is like distractions of what's keeping you back from wanting to be the best you.
Yeah.
So it's just our brains are crazy. Our brains are nuts.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about just what you do for a living. I mean, just that alone's crazy, right?
True.
The desire to be a professional fighter, to desire to fucking kick people in the head and choke them and have them try to do it to you, and that this is what excites you, and that this is what's driving you to go to the gym to improve constantly at. I mean, that alone is crazy, And then these other people that are living their lives and drinking too much and smoking too much and eating shitty foods, and that's their path. But their path is not compatible with your path. That's the big key.
I like how Kyle Kingsbury said, like there's going to be some point in your life that health is your main priority. There's going to be some point when you're old and you have a disease, or it could be now. But I was lucky enough to, when I was 20 and 21 learning these things, I moved in with Robert Follis and got to live with him for a while.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, this motherfucker's got bookshelves of books, super smart. And I'm like, why is he eating all that? Why does he go to this Trader Joe's place? So I started going to Trader Joe's, and I'm like, Robert Follis would always say, he's like, how much do you train your mind? We train jiu-jitsu, we train wrestling, we train all this. How much do you sit there and train your mind? And I was like, fuck. So I just started reading books and started reading about eating healthy, and super lucky to learn and be around that guy. He was probably one of the biggest influences in my life, because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness my whole life, and he was raised a Jehovah's Witness his whole life. And I carried a lot of fucking guilt for not being in the religion/cult. And he's like, dude, you're not a good person because of that religion. He's like, you're a good person because you're a fucking good person. And then just started telling me to read and do your own research. Don't listen to these people. Do your own fucking research. Learned a lot from that guy, and I got to pass it on to Sugar.
He was a gem. I really, really loved that guy. Such a great guy to be around. I mean, I didn't know him enough. Really, when he died, it bummed me out so much. I was like, God damn, I should have spent more time with that guy.
Fuck, isn't that crazy?
I
I only got to meet him. I only met him like 3 or 4 times, but every time I was around him, I was like, it was cool because he taught Tim so much, and I could learn. I'd seen that's where he learned it all from. I was like, Robert's a smart dude.
Yeah, that's
And the
why
way
it was
he-
such a bummer. A guy like that would want to end his own life. Like, how is that possible that someone was so loved and respected and appreciated? It really just highlights, the real issues that people who have mental illness and depression are going through. It's like it's not obvious to people on the outside.
Yeah,
you
and I
never
think,
know you just never know how someone's feeling or thinking.
Yeah.
and his brother committed suicide, and I think that's what made him start maybe getting into pills or alcohol and stuff. But it was weird because he would always be the one that the answer for you to what are your problems. He had the perfect answer, super intelligent. So it kind of freaked me out. I'm like, man, I want my life to be like that guy. I want to be like him when I grow up. And when that happened, I was like, fuck, man, I couldn't believe it.
How did you get out of Jehovah's Witness?
My parents got divorced in 8th grade. My mom moved to Canada, was still a Jehovah's Witness, and I lived with her for a while, and I just was super trapped. Couldn't hang out with anyone, couldn't do any sports, and I was like, fuck, I have to make a decision. Go with my dad, get out of the cult, and all the elders were like, "Don't do that. That's a mistake. That's a mistake." But I made the decision.
Elders. They have elders too, just like the Mormons.
Yeah. And I made the decision I'm going to go move with my dad and move back to Montana. And then my dad was super into UFC, so I started wrestling and boxing when I was 14, and then on from there.
My one of my wife's, well, how do I put this without, this person I know was heavily into Mormonism, and they had people come over their house that were elders, and the kid was 20. And he's like, "This is Elder Mike." I'm like, "The fuck it is."
Elder Mike.
Like, what are you talking about? Elder? You're
Elder
20,
Mike.
dude. And, I'm like,
Go out there and get some pussy.
that
20.
that is so preposterous, you fucker. You know, and they were going to other countries as missionaries. You know, getting these people in
Riding their bikes.
South America, and going up to them and saying, "Hey, come join the cult."
I remember my dad was watching the UFC when I had to have been 12 or 13, and I thought it was I remember telling my mom that he was watching. I told on him, like, that he's watching two guys fight. I thought it was the craziest thing ever. I hated it. I did not like
How old were
confrontation.
you?
Like 12, 13 years old. And I remember literally telling on my dad that he was watching the UFC. It's just funny looking back on that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It was
Wow,
funny
do you
when-
remember who was fighting?
I don't. I remember I remember Chuck and Tito, and then Uriah Faber. Those were the three guys. Like, I remembered.
Their names.
Yeah.
Yeah. You believe they're gonna fight again?
Are they
Th-
getting
no
it on
way.
again?
Chuck and Tito are supposed to be
Bullshit.
fighting again.
What?
Yeah.
When? This year? Next
Who
year?
knows? It's for Oscar De La Hoya's burgeoning MMA promotion.
Tell me you're not going to watch, though.
Oh,
You'll
Front
be
row.
tuning in, baby.
yeah, you fucking got me, man. You
Yeah.
got me. I mean, I probably will have to watch.
I'm surprised
Unfortunately,
Bellator didn't pick that up.
I don't think Bellator wants it. I think Bellator's cautious. I know Bellator was talking to Chuck, but I mean, Dana White said it best. There's a reason I asked him to retire 10 years ago.
Fuck.
10 years.
10 years ago. I mean,
Fuck.
look, man, there's number. Here it is.
Ortiz.
Tito Ortiz announces he's coming out of retirement for Chuck Liddell Trilogy. Is that today?
I'll watch.
May 11th, so like a
Oh,
month ago.
okay. Yeah, it's happening, man. It's happening.
Damn.
Hell
I wonder
yeah.
how their training camps are going to go.
Oof.
Fuck.
Yeah, but they're going to be hurting.
Yeah, a lot of MRIs.
Seriously.
1-2 sessions a week.
It's just, well, Tito is in remarkably good shape, believe it or not.
Is he?
He's had a significant number of back injuries, but other than the Chuck Liddell fights, he really didn't take a lot of head shots.
Yeah.
It didn't really take a lot of head trauma.
Yeah, that's true.
Tito's a tough motherfucker, man. He's been around a long ass time, and when he fought Chuck, the gap in striking was just so large. Tito was always a competent striker. He was a strong guy and a great wrestler, and his ground and pound was some of the best. I mean,
Yeah.
Tito was one of those guys that never bothered passing the guard. He was like, fuck you and
Yeah.
fuck your guard.
Team Quest
I'm
style.
going to get on top of you and smash you. And there was nobody catching Tito Ortiz in triangles. Get the fuck out of here with
way.
that. You were getting elbowed and punched in the face. He was phenomenal at that.
was.
But his stand-up could not hang with Chuck. Chuck, when you think of Chuck's stand-up, like, it was never, like, it was beautiful in a lot of ways because the knockouts were spectacular, but it was not sneaky. You know what I'm saying? There was no artistry to it. There was no feints or there's no, like, T.J. Dillashaw style movement or Dominic Cruz or it was just attack.
Yeah.
Viking.
Powerful.
Wah! Just smash people and skillful. Don't get me wrong. It was look, he fucked up a lot of really good guys with solid technique, but it was just so overtly aggressive. Like, his style was so aggressive that style just caught up with him. Yeah. I mean, he was in so many wars, man. I mean, just so many fucking crazy wars.
It's weird, the confidence, like, you see, like, it's so good, I feel like, when someone knocks people out early on in their career. And they're like, oh, shit,
You
man,
can do it.
if I fucking touch this guy, he's going to fall.
Right.
Sugar's knocked someone out with every limb on his body. So it's like, he knows he can touch this guy with any limb, and what they do, they fucking fall over. And I think a lot of
good
people
feeling.
late in their career, they never knock someone out, so they don't believe that at all. And I feel like you can see that big time in fights.
Or a wrestler knocks someone out for the first time, and then they're like, oh,
Addicted.
okay,
Right.
I can
Johnny
knock
Hendricks
someone
style.
out.
Right. Well, Hendricks, for a while, had some magic power in his hands. It was
Fuck,
weird.
dude.
What it's weird is that it went away. It didn't make any sense. If you see like his fight with Martin Kampman or his fight with Fitch or a lot of the guys he fought, he would just fucking one-touch these guys, and they would fly across the cage like he had magic in his hands.
Fuck.
Dude, Hendricks for a while, I mean, I don't know if he got injured, if his shoulder got fucked up, if he couldn't throw the way he used to be able to throw. Whatever it was, USADA, whatever it was, whatever got him, motivation, time, just father time, whatever it was. But goddamn, it just went away. And then he became not a dangerous striker. It's so weird.
That is weird.
It's fucking weird. And that's another thing, like whether it's USADA or whether they're using those losses as informative or demoralizing.
Well, we all know. Everyone who has been around gyms knows things that have not been published. We know people that have not been caught, but we've seen them dip significantly when they had to go off a cycle because they were going to a place where they were going to get tested regularly. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
And these are stories that like you hesitate, like should the general public understand what the real risks are? Because these fighters that go to, you go to some place like Ryzen and they're like, hey, go crazy. we don't give a fuck. Old school pride. Go crazy. We don't give a fuck. But then when those guys come over and try to compete in the UFC, and the UFC is like, okay, fill out this paperwork, give us your whereabouts. You got to sign in everywhere you go, and then they start showing up. And someone like Holly Holmes has been tested like 19 times. They just show up, knock, knock. Here, time to pee. Let's check your blood. Let's see what's going on in your body. I'll make sure you're not doing anything stupid. All right, go back to sleep. I mean, if you come from this place where you're allowed to cheat, basically, and you're doing it all the time, which we all know a lot of organizations allow that to happen. And then you try to come over to the UFC, you're going to see depression, you're going to see lethargy, you're going to see people that they're in a dour mood all the time, they're always sad, their body's broken down, you see they shrink, you start seeing all this loose excess skin, their arms, they're not defined anymore. It's fucking horrible. But they want to fight, and they want to make the money. And, hey, it's 30-30 if I win. Maybe
money.
Maybe I can go to Guatemala and hide out and do D-ball for 6 weeks.
God, a lot of fighters too. It's like what defines them.
It's
fucking what defines them. That's all they got. That's all they're
have.
known for their whole life. Like,
oh,
he's the fighter. When's your next fight? When's your next fight? And then if you don't fight for a couple months, you got people like I broke my jaw my last fight. Constantly people asking, so when you fight? Hey, you done fighting? Are you done fighting? It's like, fuck, dude.
How long ago was that?
In August. Fucking first punch of the fight. Boom. Broke it clean. Still went into the second round, and I was trying to finish him, trying to put him away because I knew if I win one more, I'll get back in the UFC. So that was a tough one. But it forced me to meditate. It forced me. I had my jaw wired fucking tight shut for 8 weeks, and I couldn't talk because my TMJ joint would flare up, so I'd have a bad headache. So I'd had to sit in my chair, and I'm like, okay, I have to do this. So I just started meditating, and I'm like, dude, there's
How do you eat?
You just suck liquid through your teeth every day, all day.
I remember when I hurt my foot, I was like, we were in the ambulance going to after that last fight, going to the hospital, and I remember thinking this could be worse. I could have my mouth hanging off of me.
And the thing is,
it happens, man.
The ER guy, there was no one in the ER, and they're like, you need to let the inflammation go down. So I had to go 2 days and drive to another city with it hanging off. But like I said, I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't take it away because I started meditating. Now Sugar's meditating, and man, we've gotten so much fucking benefits from that. It's crazy.
You
And now we're
meditate, Joe?
hooked on it.
Yeah, I do in the tank.
Ooh.
Yeah, meditating in the tank.
You have one at your house?
I have one right here.
Here? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. That is so
Such a fucking benefit,
That
man.
is so sweet.
For me, it's like when the world gets weird, and my world's weird as fuck, man. I try to explain it to people. I'm like, it's weird being me.
I bet.
And to be able to just take some time and just look at it all through fresh eyes. Like, that's the place for me,
Hell
getting
yeah.
into that tank.
You do an hour? About? Or
I like an hour, but I do 2 if I have the time. I like 2 hours.
A 2-hour session would be.
Yeah.
God, and
But
then you
having
get-
it here is what it's all about, so I can just do it anytime I want.
Hell yeah.
Like, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just drive over here.
Sweet.
What's your morning routine like? Or do you have a morning routine that you like, or do you just kind of...
Fasted cardio is what I like to do, or fasted yoga. That's my most recent thing, is I'm doing either 14 to 16 hours, depending upon what my day looks like.
Nice.
So intermittent fasting. And then I usually either like yoga or running in the morning. Today was running, and then I'll do something in the afternoon, either martial arts related or weightlifting related.
Do you drink coffee every morning, like right when you wake up, or?
Not always, but I like it. I like these things, these nitros, these caveman nitros. But I like
brew?
regular coffee too. But I drink water with Himalayan salt in it too. That's
And the
one of the
lemon?
first things. Yeah, I put a little lemon in there too.
Do that every morning.
Sometimes I throw a little cayenne pepper in that motherfucker. Wow.
Any apple cider ever vinegar?
I do that stuff sometimes too. I take a
Nice.
lot of probiotics.
Those are the.
I eat a lot of kimchi. I find like kimchi and game meat is like I've been on this kick for the past 3 or 4 months where I just eat kimchi and elk like 3-4 times a week. I'm eating that stuff. Yeah.
Dude, it's hard when you eat some
Yeah.
elk before bed and you wake up hard as a rock, wanting to fuck people up too.
Dirty
You're
rock.
like, what the fuck, dude?
People don't know, man. They
Dude.
don't know. You're eating a
Ugh.
super athlete. If you eat elk, you're literally eating a super athlete. You know?
Oh, it's badass.
That's
Yeah.
like a huge, like another reason, not just Dr. Andy, but listening to you talk about it. Like I listen to your podcast all the time, talk about how beneficial eating those kind of meats are, and I'm just like, God, I gotta do it, and I feel so much better doing it.
Well, if you think about like how healthy it is to eat salmon, like a healthy wild salmon, that is an animal that's out there hustling. You know, a salmon making its way upriver. You eat one of those things, it's just loaded with nutrients and essential fats. And when you eat an elk, man, you're eating an animal that's getting away from wolves and bears and fighting to the death with swords growing out of its head. I mean, literally, it's a forest horse with fucking spears growing out of its head. Yeah. And they're just out there hustling.
Seriously.
All day, you know, living out in Montana in the winter, in the middle of the fucking winter,
Seriously.
running from wolves and shit. I mean, that's their life. You eat one of those things, you eat it, it's like, the fuck? Like you get charged up. You're like, yeah. It feels, I've given it to
Fuck
people
yeah.
that never eaten it before, and they're like, holy shit. And I'm like, yeah, you feel different, right? You feel
You're
like
eating their DNA.
Yes.
Do you listen to Paul Chek?
Paul Chek, he's the Jeet Kune Do guy, right? Isn't he?
No, he's been on Aubrey's and stuff. He's
No, I'm thinking of Paul Vernack.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a different guy. Yeah, I have listened to Paul Chek. I listened to him on Aubrey's podcast.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
he's a wizard.
He was
man.
explaining how pasture-raised eggs versus just regular eggs, how we're literally eating the DNA of that chicken. And I don't remember what exactly he said, but it blew my mind. I was like, he's awesome. That'd be a good podcast, you and him. That would be sweet.
Yeah, I'd have him on for sure,
That would be
man.
so sweet.
Yeah, I mean, chickens, they love to eat bugs and worms and grass, and they love to roam around. And if they are allowed to do that, they get a dark, like an orange yolk that you just don't get from those goddamn grocery store egg chickens. Those grocery store chickens are prisoners. Yeah, you're getting little
seriously.
prisoner eggs.
You're eating that, putting
Yeah.
it into your body.
I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's nothing like a farm-raised, free-ranging chicken egg. And you could get those at farmers markets and stuff like that. But you could tell the moment you crack them open.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just orange like the sun. You know. It's,
You take care of your chickens?
yeah, I have chickens.
Are they a
in my
pain?
yard.
Sweet.
What's that?
Are they a pain?
It's not the easiest thing.
Really?
You know, yeah, you got to clean the shit and you got to make sure they have enough food. And for me, I got a squirrel problem.
Uh-huh.
My wife wants to kill the fucking squirrels. Me, I'm like, they're cute little fellas, right? But they
That's
steal all the food. They're fat fucking squirrels because they keep figuring out a way to get into the chicken coop and get all the chicken food. And they're just in there all the time. But now I might have to put them to death because I found out they've been stealing eggs. The squirrels have now figured out that they can get eggs. And so a squirrel was trying to roll an egg out of the chicken coop through the hole that he comes in. We
You
caught
caught
him
him?
doing that. I didn't catch him.
Damn.
I
Smart
didn't
little
catch him.
fuckers.
How are you gonna get him?
Smart little fucker. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I bet it feels good. I've never hunted, and but it feels good shooting and then eating the meat you get.
It does.
I'm nervous though, because I feel like I would feel so guilty shooting an animal.
You will.
I remember I shot a
There,
bird
little
when I was.
fucker. Look at him. He's got an egg. Little cunt.
That's yours?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Pull that back, Jamie. I had no idea that squirrels did this. I had to find out in my own yard. These little fuck
Oh my
faces.
God.
They're egg stealers, bro. How do they
fuck,
know?
though.
How do they know? They're so cute.
That's
They're so
awesome.
cute. How do they know? They fucking know
That
how to
chicken's
get
like, you
eggs.
little bitch.
Little motherfucker.
I'd
Yeah, the
fuck you
chickens.
if I could.
Chickens don't know what to do.
Damn.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah. Squirrels they're not smart, but they're determined. I think I might have to run a fucking arrow through a few of them.
Yeah, seriously.
But I don't want to kill the squirrels.
That's the
See,
thing.
it's like
the
I
problem.
don't want them eating my eggs, but I also don't want to kill them. So I don't know what to do.
I know. It's
I
like
keep
they have one
figuring
life.
out a way to block off their holes, but they keep opening new holes.
Fuck.
This is what this guy did. He made a protector box or something.
Oh,
I don't know if it
interesting.
worked, but
Just like my brother says though, man, if you're hunting and you're a really good shot, you're gonna put that thing away and it didn't even know it died. It lived a great life. Boom, it's done, and you're eating its meat.
But
Like,
listen, man, that's
someone's
best
mom,
case
dad.
scenario.
yeah,
But here's the thing, though. They don't live forever anyway, and the way they die in the wild by getting torn apart by wolves or coyotes or mountain lions is way worse
That's true.
than a bullet or an arrow. You know, I mean, the life of an elk is a quick life. If you're like, not that one, but that one's probably only like maybe 5 years old. But the one outside, the big one over by the mats, that one's about 9 years old. That's about as old as you're going to. If you find like a 10, 11-year-old elk, holy shit, that guy's lived forever. And their teeth are all worn down.
Damn.
Wow, I didn't even know. I didn't know that. I had no idea.
Yeah, they don't live very long. You know, it's a hustle. And they're out there just fighting for their life and trying to get by. Most of the time, they're just grazing, but they'll look up and they'll see a wolf or something, and it's like, fuck, it's on, man. I have some friends that live in Idaho, and you know, Idaho has a considerable wolf population. And they went on this scouting trip, and when they were up in the hills, they found 4 dead, really large bull elk that were torn apart by wolves over the course of like a 10-mile hike. They found 4 of them laying there dead, torn apart by wolves. Fuck. And they're like, holy shit, like this is crazy. So the wolves will eat part of it, leave it there. I mean, it's cold as shit where they are. They don't have to worry about the meat going bad. Yeah. So they'll kill it, tear it apart, and then they'll find another one. And their instinct is to go after the next one. They don't like just kill one and say, we got enough food, we'll eat this until we're full, and then when we get hungry, go hunt another one. No,
there's hunters.
Yeah, they do what's called what do they call it? It's not like they don't call it sport hunting. There's a word for it when they kill like was it Wyoming? What was that one crazy story? In Wyoming, they killed 19 elk and didn't even eat them.
What?
Yeah,
They do it for fun?
No, they don't do it for fun. They can't help themselves. It's like
surplus
killing. They know they can get away with it, so they just do it, and then they'll cache them. Yeah, look at this, 19 elk. They recovered all of them and stacked them.
Holy shit!
They're not little either, bro.
Big dudes.
seriously.
These are the ones they brought down from Canada too. The wolves. They brought them down in the 90s to repopulate Yellowstone because we had eradicated wolves from most of the western states.
Did you see that animal they just found in Montana and they don't even know what it is?
Yeah, it's a wolf hybrid. I saw it.
A wolf hybrid with what?
A dog. Yeah, a wolf probably fucked a German Shepherd or something.
Damn, that's
they do
wild.
that. Most of the time they kill them.
What?
They'll kill dogs. They eat dogs constantly.
He fucked
But,
that one.
Yeah, he's probably hungry, or probably horny rather, and not hungry, and
Yeah.
just said,
Horned
"Let me,
up.
I'm gonna
let me
fuck
this dog and see what happens."
Yeah, that's
Damn, that's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, or a dog fucked him, or fucked her rather.
Right.
It could have been that.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, you saw it. Did you see that picture of that thing? To me, it looks like a wolf dog hybrid. Like maybe
haven't
somebody
seen
had. What is that? There's this crazy Russian dog that looks like a werewolf. It's this weird Russian dog that's like fucking crazy hair all over the place. And if a wolf fucked one of those, it would probably look like this thing.
Yeah.
Did you find that thing? What does it look like? There are good pictures of it? So that picture sucks. That's just the back of it. When
There's
you see
another
its,
picture of it.
Its head. Wolf dog shooting in Montana draws international attention. See, to me, it just looks like a dog fucked a
Yeah.
wolf. It's just a big-ass wolf
Holy
dog.
shit.
fucker, though,
Big.
That is a big fucker.
Sheesh.
It's a big animal. That looks like a 150-pound dog.
Jesus.
Could be a little pickup too.
Yeah, it could be like a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to tell.
Damn, that's crazy.
They're beautiful, man. I'm glad they're out there. They're fascinating, but they're rough on wildlife. But that's their life. You know, their life is out there killing, and the elk's life is out there surviving. And the way I feel about hunting is you just dip your legs and your body into that world with discipline and with an understanding of what you're doing. And if you get lucky and you get an opportunity, you kill one of those animals and bring it out. And that's like, to me, that is the cleanest, best way to eat meat.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
just feel like there's no better way in terms of like karma, in terms of your interaction with nature, the understanding connection that you have to your food. There's just so, and then health wise, there's no Monsanto, GMO, no spraying. I mean, you're eating a pure animal. I mean,
Yeah.
Just
I need to try it. I need to shoot one someday.
Well, Montana's the place, man.
Seriously.
Go back home. I mean, shit. It's one of Montana is some of the best elk hunting in the entire country.
I'd rather just eat my dad and brothers. I'm more of a gatherer.
That's good too, man.
Yeah, it probably would be right there with you.
Hey, man. Nothing wrong with gathering or farming, man. Grow your own fucking vegetables. You know, nothing wrong with that.
That's the plan. Eventually, we're gonna make a compound and have our own animals.
Hey, I'll give you guys some meat. I got a whole couple freezers back there.
That would be
Filled
so
with meat.
awesome.
When you guys go back?
We're gonna drive back right after.
Oh shit! I'll hook you up. Yeah.
Thank you.
By the time you
Thank
get
you.
home, you'll have. It won't even be frozen.
yes.
It won't even be thawed out yet.
How old were you when you took your first rip of weed?
Weed? I was 30. Well, not really. So I smoked when I was younger, but it was only like occasionally at like a party, and I always felt like a loser for doing it. You know, like everybody else would be getting high, and I'm like, I'll try that. But I was probably already drunk anyway, you know,
Yeah.
like when I was 14 or 15 or something like that. So maybe I smoked weed a handful of times, less than a dozen times, till I was 30. And then Eddie Bravo got me into it when I was 30 years old. We were doing jiu-jitsu together. And he was telling me how marijuana was helping his jiu-jitsu and helping his music and his creativity. I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I'm like, dude, marijuana just makes you stupid. Like, don't you know? You know? And he's like, just try it. And we got high, and I remember thinking, like, oh, this is what it is. Like, wow, I did not know.
Same.
I can't believe it. That feeling, like you're like, wow.
Were you by yourself?
It's this. No, it's just me and Eddie.
Oh, sweet.
I was like, I can't believe this. We went and got something to eat. We were
Giggled.
talking. Oh, yeah, we giggled like crazy.
That's the best.
Talked about all kinds of crazy shit. And then I remember I started smoking pot and getting on stage. And I was getting real creative with my comedy, and then smoking pot and doing jiu-jitsu. I was like, I can't believe how zoned in it gets you with training. Smoking pot and hitting the bag to this day is like one of my all-time favorite things. I get paranoid. I get freaked out. I get weirded out. I get freaked out. But I just fucking wrap up my hands, put on the timer, and just once that sweat starts flowing and you start, and it's almost like the paranoia and the weirdness of it all, you just fight it off by hitting that bag. Ba ba boom, ba ba boom. You know, and you hear the bell that says 30 seconds and you're flurrying, and then you get that 1 minute off to think about life and your future and the fucking universe and volcanoes and Guatemala and Hawaii, and
God.
the bell goes off again. You got another 3 minutes, and man, it's one of my like it's a psychedelic experience. It's like a cleansing experience. Hitting the bag when you're high.
I love shadowboxing when I'm high. I'll take a rip at home and just sit. They have a little mirror, and I'll just shadowbox. Don't even know how long. I just can just shadowbox for just go.
Do you know what's weird? Like you feel balance when you're high. You feel like maybe like if you got an injury, you feel it more. You feel like
More
where things
aware.
are off. You know what I mean? And like for me, I feel my transfer of power better when I'm high. Like certain techniques, I really get the timing of like when to turn the hip over. I feel it more when I'm high. I feel the connection with all the tissue, all of it working together.
I swear it helps you just stay in the moment a little bit more, especially at night after you train real hard and you're thinking about your mind's going 100 miles per hour. Take one rip and you're
Yeah.
it's
I
all
like-
gravy.
I like everyone always asks how much I smoke. When do I smoke? After surgery, I was smoking all day. The doctor said, "Hey."
What did they do to your foot?
So I tore the Liz Frank. So I think that fractured it and tore the ligaments.
What is the Liz Frank? What is it? Why is it called Liz Frank? Does one poor girl have a fucking horrible injury?
These ligaments right here. I don't know.
Frank's cousin.
And that was in that.
That was the Sukentov fight.
Yeah.
Andre. I threw a kick and I landed and I launched off my right foot to throw a right hand and I felt it snap right there. And
Because we watched the replay. Oh, there it is right here. So, Liz Frank joint complex. Oh, so that's where it tore.
I'm just glad there's someone smart enough on this earth to be able to fix my foot.
Dude, think of my mouth. I was
God,
like, fuck.
some smart people in this world.
And so what are you, like 11 weeks out from
Yeah, I'm about
surgery?
11 weeks out, 10, 11 weeks out, and I'm
Wow.
feeling about 85, 90%. And I go to the doctor in a couple weeks to
Well,
get
you were
cleared.
kicking the bag with that foot.
I was feeling good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
feeling like that was the first time I kicked the bag, and that felt good. I was excited about that. But
That's awesome. It's great that they could fix shit, man.
seriously,
I mean, thank God for smart people.
I know. I was like, I would be fucked right now.
Yeah.
But I guess this injury, like, a ton of people get it and they just don't know. They just let it kind of heal and live with it. But
and what was it like as it was healing? Like, what does it impede?
what's impede?
What does it stop you from doing? What does it slow you down with? What does it get in the way of things?
Walking, just walking hurt so bad. I didn't do anything. I remember the doctor said, hey, just stay off your foot. I literally played Fortnite. I was living a professional gamer life for a month. I was gaming 8 hours a day. I would wake up and I'd go and game for 8 hours a day.
Were you high the whole time?
And I was smoking, because I personally don't like smoking all day. I feel like it makes me unmotivated. It's not the weed, it's me. I feel unmotivated. I just don't really like it. But when I was gaming, it was the best. I was gaming, smoking all day. But yeah, I was. Where was I going with that?
The surgery with your foot.
I was talking about smoking weed. I like weed as a nightly celebration almost. Like I get shit done during the day. I wake up, do my morning routine, go to the gym, come home, do what I do, eat lunch, play Fortnite, go to the gym, come home, and that's when I'm like, okay, I earned because marijuana is so easy, and like I know I have a huge following of people who smoke weed, and it's so easy for marijuana to take over your life and be in charge of you. And I felt that when I was gaming and smoking, I wanted to. I'm like, I don't, whatever. Take a rip. And it takes over your life. And I feel like it's such a powerful drug. I don't like the word drug. It's such a powerful, it is a drug though.
Masks a lot of people's problems.
Masks a lot of people's feelings of how they truly feel. It's so easy to get high all day instead of deal with certain emotions. So I just feel like, people are abusing it way too much.
Some people certainly are.
Some people are, and
that's the case with everything, though, right?
It is
for sure.
It is.
So this foot thing, how do they fix it? What is the surgery?
They put some pins in to hold the ligaments together. There was two options. I was gonna get a plate in my foot, and then 6 weeks later, I was gonna get surgery again to take it out.
The plate out?
And I was like, that does not sound.
How about you keep that plate in? Crack people with it.
Seriously.
Well, I land a lot of my kicks, you're supposed to land with your shin, but I land a lot with my foot. It's like a slap.
Well, look at Thompson.
Yeah.
He throws a lot of instep kicks. I mean, that was the karate way for the longest time.
Yeah.
I literally remember I knocked someone out in Seattle with my foot, and the dude was out for like 10 minutes. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was gnarly. It was
Yeah,
literally my foot slapping his jaw, and I was like, holy shit, that's...
You most
With my
certainly
foot.
can knock people out with your foot. I mean, that's Phil Davis in Bellator just knocked that guy out. That was his foot. Wasn't
Yeah.
it? Didn't his foot land?
Yeah, it's weird. You don't
Yeah.
see it coming.
Yeah.
It's the shots you don't see coming. Yeah, you're right.
Especially when they come over the shoulder, those round kicks that come over the shoulder from the outside.
That Stephen Thompson kick where he threw that's probably one of my favorite knockouts, and he came over. It literally looked like it came over.
Question mark.
That was so sweet.
It's
God, that
almost
was
like a
sweet.
question mark. Yeah, almost like that one. But, the question mark one comes straight up the middle and
That's
comes around.
I threw the question mark kick, landed, and then that's when I did it. That's when I hurt my foot. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring this up too. I remember, you had I don't remember what podcast it was, but you were talking about. You were looking at my Instagram and you saw I did a kick to a guard pass. I was in front of him, did a 360 guard pass. And I remember you saying he could do that in a fight if he practiced it a lot. And I've been practicing that. So I've been doing that for a couple of years now. And I did it in that Andre fight. He was up against the cage and I 360 passed into side control. And I wanted to bring that up and tell you that. But it works. Spinning people don't know what to do when you spin.
Right.
I spun and he'd cover up. I'm already in side control now.
There's a moment they have to think.
And when I'm striking as well, usually when I spin, they back up and cover up. Like, now I'm going to go to your body. Now I'm going to your body. Now I'm going to go to your head.
You can get away with a lot of stuff other people can't. You're so fucking athletic. I feel like you could be a pro in a bunch of different sports. Like his timing and his eyes. Like, what did the doctor say? You have some of the best eyes you can
I remember
have?
going to the eye doctor, a few different ones, and they're like, oh my God, your eyes are... Those are some of the best eyes I've ever seen in my life. Like, they were taken back. I don't know if that transfers over to fighting and my distance and how I see things coming. Or
you found your range such at a young age too, not like a wrestler, like constant penetration. Started as a striker, so he's got his range down so good, and his eyes and his timing and his reaction time is so fucking fast. So like everyone sees him and they're like, oh, that's beatable, but with him in front of you, it's way fucking
Well,
different.
your length, man, for your weight class, for bantamweight, you're so fucking long. And I told you when I saw you, I thought for a second that you might have been the son of Michael O'Malley. There's a guy named Michael O'Malley who was my original Taekwondo instructor, who was a 4-time national champion, like literally one of the best Taekwondo fighters in the world in his prime.
Oh, yeah, he is tall.
Yeah, he's very tall. And he fought 147.
Little skinny
And he
neck,
was like
just you.
6'3".
Did they cut weight in Taekwondo?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but terribly.
Nah.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Damn, that's
they
sweet.
cut weight and fight the same day. But he was a beast. He was my original Taekwondo instructor. He was Jae-Hun Kim's prize student. He was his #1 student.
Damn.
And when I started, Michael had stopped fighting. He was just teaching. And now he runs a school in Peabody. But he basically taught me almost everything that I know. And Mr. Kim took over as well when he came back. But when I first started training there for the first year or so, Mr. Kim was in Korea, and I learned everything from Mr. O'Malley.
Fucking long limbs, just like
he
Sugar, too.
was so fast,
That's
too.
sweet.
So fast. He was so fast. He would do demonstrations on people, like demonstrations on how to set things up. And you would see him do things, and it was confusing. You'd be like, fuck, imagine if that guy was trying to kick me.
In front of you?
Yeah, because you'd be fucked because he was so good at setting things up and footwork and movement. And so when I saw you, I was like, holy shit, this kid looks like Michael O'Malley. Like, I thought you were his son.
That's funny.
Like, I really did. I was like, holy shit, his son is fighting? Because I haven't talked to Michael
awesome.
in a long time.
That's
And I
sweet.
really
funny.
did think that you were his son.
That would have been nuts.
That would have been.
Yeah, I was like, wow, when I see this kid, I got to ask him.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Maybe.
Not my dad. Who knows?
Maybe someone was on a traveling
knows?
journey, you know what I'm saying?
You never know. You never
This
know.
world's crazy.
Where was that
This
at?
world's
Where,
crazy. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So when you first got together, when you two first got together, you were 18?
When he was commentating the fight, I was 18. I moved down.
And
when I
how
was
old are you
19.
now?
23.
23. And so you guys have been hanging out together and training together the entire time?
Yeah, we've been best friends the entire time. So it's like, and Sugar really like looks up to me and trusts my opinion, and he listens to me, and that makes me have to up my game. I constantly have to research because I know he trusts me and I know he looks up to me. So I have to make sure everything's really top notch.
It's nice now that I'm in a position to where I can. He's my coach. Like, he's my main coach. I'm paying him to be my coach. He's focusing on me, my diet. Watching videos. He sends, like, on Instagram, he'll send me videos of, like, jiu-jitsu is my favorite sport in the gi. That's probably what I've trained the most in, like, since my surgery. Just pretty much what I've been doing is just drilling in the gi. He teaches at Gents Soul Fighters, and I go there and drill Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But he's constantly sending me videos of nutrition, jiu-jitsu, sleeping, just anything, any knowledge he's sending me. So he's such a huge benefit to me to becoming what I want to be, and it's so awesome. Like, we're doing this together, so it's cool. I remember being 19 in the apartment, like, this is what I wanted, everything, like training, and to have him here with me, even just being here, it's just so awesome to travel everywhere I go. We're going places, we're traveling, we're training everywhere we go, we're training. It's awesome.
So how satisfying is it for you to see him in a position like the Andre fight, where, like, I thought you made a big leap in between that fight and the fight before? That's right, which was a very good fight too. But I was like, damn, this kid's getting better. I'm like, you made a leap. You were doing a lot of, like, weird, unpredictable shit in the Sukumtat fight. You were moving around a lot, and I was like, you looked real confident, and like you were just constantly moving forward. How much is it, like, how good does it feel to watch someone improve like that?
Dude, it feels just as good as if it was me doing it.
Sometimes more, right?
Like, sometimes more. That's why I'm like, man, yeah, it feels fucking good. But after every fight, I'm like, dude, let's treat it like we lost.
Right.
Let's treat it like we
He
fucking
always
lost
says
that fight.
Always says that. He said, I go out because I'm 10-0 right now, and every fight I've won, he said, let's pretend you lost. And I've improved so much in between fights because I live this life still. I don't really party too much. When I do, I like to party though. But I don't really party too much. My life is MMA. It's like my morning is training, my afternoon's training, and he's constantly saying after a fight, let's pretend we lost. Let's improve. And and from that Alfred fight to that Andre fight, that was less than a year. I feel like I improved the most. I was just constantly learning, and this sport's fucking awesome, man.
It is fucking awesome.
Sport is so awesome.
It's a fucking crazy sport too, though, right?
It's so nice too, because like, fuck, we're getting bored of jiu-jitsu a little bit. Let's go wrestle for a while, or let's go box for a while. We can always bounce back and forth. It's pretty cool.
Do you ever fuck around with any weird stuff like Wing Chun or
No,
judo or anything?
Mushrooms.
The weirdest.
Oh yeah, mushrooms.
Fuck,
I feel
dude.
like mushrooms are gonna change the world.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's what we're kind of like dealing with, like with sugar, like, because we're really starting to figure out like what ego is and like some
God.
really deep shit.
You know Eckhart Tolle?
Sure.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about ego and Aubrey Marcus and with Aubrey Marcus and just a bunch of different people, and it's scary learning about your ego and like who you really are and who your ego is, and understanding that they're two different people. Like fighting and this whole like Instagram is basically your ego. That's who your ego is. I feel like for me.
Instagram.
Yeah, I feel like social media in
For your-
general.
for your
You mean,
character.
like you push out what you want people to think of you, like that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
everyone does. Like you post
Yeah.
what you want people, like that's what people are gonna think of you as, whatever you post.
Right.
It's like, and then like realizing, because like I was broke last year this time. I was pretty much broke, and now I have a good amount of money, and I'm realizing money doesn't make you happy. Materialistic things don't make you happy, and I know everyone says that. What's Jim Carrey's quote? Like, I wish everyone could be rich once to realize that they don't want to
rich and famous.
Rich and famous.
Yeah,
like,
to realize it doesn't make you happy.
because like I have a lot of people, like my little brother. I was telling him, trying to like get him. I want to pay him to help run my YouTube channel. I'm like, you can make $60,000 a year, blah blah blah. He's like, oh, that's not a lot. That's not enough. I'm like, dude, you could literally not have to work, and be like help me with my YouTube.
Yeah, dude, but I'm trying to get millionaires.
And it's just like that's not what makes you happy. And I'm finding that out. Like
at a young age.
like I understand. Like my ego is motivated by money. I love money, and I love just this whole fight game is just all about just. I feel like I'm learning so much. It's hard to explain my brain, and I'm still trying to figure out all this, everything I'm learning. I'm listening to so many podcasts every day, reading so many books every day, and I can't really explain what my brain.
But try to explain what your original thought. So like you feel like what you're putting out on social media is the ego, and what you really are, like who you really are, is something different.
Well, yeah, I think just humans in general, we're all at the core. We're all just want love and compassion.
And so you want that from fighting.
Like what makes me truly happy is training jiu-jitsu, or training in general, eating healthy, and being around people I love, being around my dogs, watering my flowers. Like that's what makes me happy. That's what makes.
What kind of satisfaction do you get from fighting? To show that your hard work pays
I love
off?
performing. Ever since I was a little kid, I was always trying to perform in front of whoever was around. If we had to get together, a family get, I was always being loud, obnoxious, trying to perform and do something. I love performing. Like that's performing in front of huge crowds. Like he was saying, the bigger the crowd, the more people watching them, the better I feel like I perform. Yeah. I don't know.
When you start learning about that stuff and take mushrooms, it really opens your brain to a whole nother different pathways.
It certainly changes how you look at yourself.
I think, mushrooms are one of my favorite things I've ever done. I've done mushrooms probably 5 times, and it's weird. Right after a mushroom trip, you feel you're so much more. You realize everyone's going through shit. Like everyone is going through something. It makes you want to be nicer to people. It makes you want to be kinder.
Yeah.
And then like 4 or 5 months later, you start getting into your old ways, and you're like, oh, I need to do mushrooms again.
Yeah.
Need to reset.
Have you done DMT?
I have not. I'm actually kind of scared to do DMT because I know, like that's what I talk about my ego. Like even mushrooms, like they attack your ego almost, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we need that.
And I need that ego to keep. I don't know. It's.
You need your ego right now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we gotta know.
Connor's ego is huge. Connor, you need to have a big ego. You need to have an ego just to do anything. We are.
But is it the ego, or do you need to have the desire to achieve excellence? Is that always the ego? Can you do that without the self? Can you do that just as a task, as a goal, and be completely committed and single-minded in your approach to try to achieve excellence? Can you do that without the ego? Can you do it as a project? Can you do it as a task?
I think so. I think
you can too.
But I don't think you build this character that I want to build, this person, this persona.
But why do you want to build a persona? Because you see Connor do it.
No, it's fun.
Right. Right.
It's the whole fight game is like that. It's just fun.
Right.
Like I don't.
Plus,
I
we
don't
know
know.
if we build the persona, the bigger checks are gonna come.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to not be me. Like everything I do is me. Like I don't know. I enjoy.
Trying to find a happy medium, like a happy medium.
I'm gonna come on this podcast later in life and I'll explain more. My brain. I'm just learning so much right now, and I just feel like it's overwhelming.
Of course, man. Dude, when I was your age, I was a fucking idiot. You know, you're way ahead of the game. It's just a part of life. Is 5 years from now, you'll be like, God, back then I didn't know shit.
Yeah, seriously.
And then 5 years later, you'll be like, God, back then I didn't know shit.
The more you
know?
learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Of course.
And then we get mad at our parents and stuff like, come on, please listen to me, eat healthy, like read books. I'm like, our parents didn't grow up with the internet. Like we're so lucky to be able to learn from you guys.
It's just impossible to change people's ways. They have to want to change. They have to be motivated. They have to. It's so hard to change people. It's like if you've ever had a friend that's been into drugs and it's been all fucked up and you can't get them to quit, or an alcoholic. It is almost impossible to talk someone into changing. They have to have some motivation that's internal.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with eating good. The best example you could set is by living your life in a healthy way.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, just live it.
That's one of the best things about the internet. You get to see all these people that are doing things in a healthy way and doing things that are exciting and inspirational, and then it makes you want to do stuff that's good. It makes you want to take care of your body, and makes you really want to concentrate on your mind and meditate and just really get everything in order.
Yeah.
Meditation's so awesome. It's really helping me. Every morning I meditate for 10 minutes, and I feel like it's helping me throughout the day understand why certain thoughts are coming up, whether it's from my childhood traumas or just anything, just certain patterns,
cultural conditioning,
thought patterns, cultural conditioning. Just meditating's helped me almost kind of slow my brain down and redirect my thoughts. If I get angry or something, or if something happens, understanding why I'm getting angry. And I think, I've been meditating. I did it for the Terrion Ware fight. I did it for the Andre fight, and I would do it randomly or in camp. I wouldn't do it all. And then now I'm doing it. I want it to be a part of my life every morning. I've been doing it for the last month.
How long do you do it for?
10 minutes.
10 minutes every morning. And then how do you do it?
I've been listening to Sam Harris guided meditation. There's an app called Headspace that has a bunch of packages that, whether it's stress, anxiety, sleep, positive thinking. I just do the guided meditations. I have this little meditation room. I go down in there. I first thing in the morning, I get up. I put the lemon and the sea salt. I hydrate. I go into my meditation room, push play, sit there 10 minutes, meditate. Then I go outside, water my flowers. My morning routine is my favorite thing. I wish everyone would have a morning routine, because it's really like, I don't know.
Sets you up for a good day.
It does. I just don't have. I remember last time I had a bad day. Just morning routine sets me up for a good day. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. In routine, John Danaher wrote some really fascinating piece on his Instagram about routine, about how important it is. If you're a great athlete, so you find me a great athlete, I'll find you someone whose life is governed by routine, and that this is the way to check progress, and this is the way to constantly be moving towards your goal. And I remember reading that, and I said to myself, this is something that I've always known, but never verbalized. I've never said it.
Yeah.
But it's something that I've always known. Like everybody who's really good. I remember I read a Sports Illustrated article a long time ago about who's that fucking track and field guy who won the Olympics a bunch of times. His name was something Moses. I forget his name. See if you can find this guy's name. It was something, but he was like an elite track and field guy. And what's that?
Edwin Moses.
Edwin Moses. He was a beast and just super, super disciplined. And I remember he had like this routine where he had his notebook, and he would lay his notebook out and write down all of his different routines. And he had this like mat that he would lay down. He would do his stretching routines and all this stuff. And I remember thinking like, oh, this guy, this is his thing. He does this all the time. He just gets there, he locks in, and he does this. And this was many, many years ago. I might have even still been fighting when this was going on. So I remember thinking about it going, okay, like this is like what elite performers do when they're at the Olympics. Track and field is so fucking boring. You're doing the same shit. You're just running Like, you have to have a mind that's made out of steel to be able to do that same stupid shit every day to try to get an extra 1/10 of a second here or an 1/8 of a second there. Fuck all that, right? But I remember thinking, like, it was at the same time horrifying to me that someone would ever want to do the same stupid shit over and over again until they won a gold medal, but at the same time massively impressive that this guy had this kind of iron will. There it is. Every time Edwin Moses placed his feet on the blocks from 1977 and 1987, he won. Moses, arguably the best hurdler ever, won 122 races, including 107 consecutive finals, and set world records in the 400-meter hurdles 4 times within that 10-year span. His journey to this untouchable level was marked by personal innovation and determination, proving that elite coaching and state-of-the-art facilities are not required for supreme athletic success. And there was, I believe it was Sports Illustrated that had an article about this guy. And I remember just seeing how motivated I was, seeing him stretching and working out and going over his routine. And I was thinking to myself, like, I would think about it every time I worked out, that, like, what would Moses do? Like, how would Moses, like, I got to start writing shit down. I got to start really thinking about everything I do. And I got to start putting it together on a daily basis like he does.
That's what Robert Falls' favorite formula he'd always say is consistency over time equals results. That was his favorite formula, and I got it tattooed on there. And it's funny because, like, once you get good at one thing, you realize, like, fuck, I could get good at anything. And I know what it takes is fucking consistency.
Dude, that's Miyamoto Musashi. He wrote that in the Book of Five Rings. Once you understand the way broadly, you will see it in all things.
Sweet. Fucking sweet, dude.
Yeah, and that's a dude who fought people with a fucking sword.
Oh, God.
That's this guy.
That's badass.
That's him.
That's fucking
That's
sweet.
Musashi.
Savage.
Yeah.
That is a
well, I
savage.
read that book when I was like 15 or 16 or something like that, and he wrote it in the 1600s, man.
Holy.
Yeah. Maybe it was the 1400s. I think it was the 1400s now that I think about it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's
He killed
crazy.
that's what the number 6 was. He killed 60 people in one-on-one sword fights.
Killed?
Killed.
Whew. Imagine your mindset going into one of them.
Yeah. Well, he was a master at that. Well, his thing was so fascinating. And I always recommend the Book of Five Rings for fighters, because one of the things that it's so crazy about it is his thing was balance, is that you should be an artist. You should be a poet. You should be like, you should understand how to write calligraphy, like that all these things are connected. You have to be in complete control of your mind. You have to be in complete control of your emotions. You have to have complete control of artistic expression. And that this was like the way to be a balanced sword fighter. Like, his whole thing was that you can't have any bullshit in your game. Like, as a human being, you can't have any bullshit, because when you're dealing with one-on-one steel fucking swords whizzing through the air by trained murderers. I mean, he was the best at it. And one of the reasons why he was the best at it was this strict adherence to this samurai way, that he was not just a warrior, that to be a great warrior, you also had to be great at all these other things. You had to have a balanced perspective. You couldn't be a meathead, right? You couldn't bite down your mouthpiece and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't work with sword fighting, son. That's bullshit. Like,
dude, just like you said about with GSP, like, he's almost too smart. Like, you're like, fuck, he's too smart. And sometimes in fighting, just like the dumb meatheads go to a certain level, but just like you said, when you're real smart, you can go to a whole new level.
Yeah. There's a benefit to being a meathead up to a certain point.
Yeah.
Especially if you can take a punch.
Fuck, like Chris Lieben.
Yeah. Lieben was a savage, dude.
Fuck,
But
dude.
there's a perfect example. When he met Anderson Silva, Anderson was like, not today, son. Not today. Welcome to the next level.
Give him a
Welcome to
taste.
several levels. You know, and that was brilliant matchmaking, by the way, by Joe Silva. When they introduced Anderson, I was a giant Anderson fan before he fought, because I was watching him in Pride, where he was fighting well, but then I knew he was better than that. He was going through a lot of bullshit, and that's when he was with Muay Thai Dream Team, and I think he had already left Shoot the Box at one point in time, but then he went over and fought in Cage Rage. He fought in England, and when he fought in England, I was like, holy shit. When you got to see when he fought George Rivera, when he fought Lee Murray, You got to see how goddamn good Anderson really was when he was in his prime. So when he came into the UFC, he was already in his 30s.
Yeah.
You know, in his first fight with Lieben, I want to say he was like 32, 33, something like that. Yeah.
That's sweet.
And he lit Chris Lieben on fire. And I remember watching, and I was saying this, I'm like, this is the perfect opponent for Anderson. Because Lieben's an animal. He's a fucking warrior. He's going to bite down on his mouthpiece and come swinging. And Anderson is going to be 15 steps ahead of him, dissecting him in different angles and degrees. And as he comes forward, he's just catching him. Bank, bank, stepping over here, pop, whap. And then it was over. It was like real quick, and that was the world's introduction to Anderson Silva.
Fucking crazy.
He was a man.
Crazy. Mind if I take a whiz, boys?
Yeah, please, go ahead. Yeah, dude, Anderson in his prime, man, was something special. He had achieved that state. You know, there's this elusive state of total flow, and he had achieved that against some of the best fighters in the world. You know, when you see him when he was at his very best, and I just feel very fortunate to have been there to watch some of those fights. I think Fedor in Pride was probably, it's like him and Anderson. Those are the two all-time greats of that era, right? And then Mighty Mouse, who's the all-time great of this era.
He's a man.
But what was so phenomenal about Anderson was that you would just watch him hit that flow state. You know, he would size guys up too. You would see him move around. He would start moving around. He would test you a little bit, move around.
Faint.
Yeah, he would give you a minute or two, and you'd be like, man, I feel pretty good. I'm doing pretty good in this fight. And then all of a sudden, you start opening up on you and be like, oh, shit, here it comes. Here it comes.
Just so in the now, just reacting. Like you could tell he was reacting and
Yep.
wasn't thinking too much.
Well, when he
Just in the
set
flow.
Vitor up with that front kick, fucking goddamn.
Nasty.
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 But he caught something that Vitor was doing. Vitor would fight squared up. You know, he was always square. We were talking about that
Right.
earlier. He always fought sort of squared up because he would blitz guys, and he always wanted to be able to sprawl and shoot and take you down. So he had a very squared up style, which made him open here and open here.
Ooh,
You know,
teep kicks. Those
Yeah.
are my favorite.
yeah.
Keeps.
Well, remember when he fought John Jones? John dropped him with a front leg side kick to the body. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
Yeah, John recognized that Vitor was standing square as well, and John hit him with a front leg side kick right to the solar plexus and dropped him.
Fuck.
And then Vitor caught John with an arm bar.
Ooh.
Remember that?
Remember that? That was
Fucking
nasty.
Super hyperextended his arm. That's where I knew John was something special. Well, I knew before, but that's when in that fight I was like, Jesus, this guy is not giving up. His arm is fucked up
That
here.
was gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
God, I wish he was
I was
fighting
squealing.
soon.
And Vitor didn't let it go, man. I mean, or he let it go rather. He didn't hold on to it.
Fuck.
John got out of it. It's
When's he
crazy.
gonna fight again, you think?
John?
Yeah.
I hope soon.
Who was kicking Alistair over him straight down the middle? They were talking about his square stance, and they knew that would be open. Knocked out Alistair with those front kicks in the
Travis
UFC.
Brown knocked
Travis-
him
That's
out.
what it
yeah,
was.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember Greg Jackson talking about that.
That was
nasty
after
too.
Travis got back from being fucking badly hurt in that fight. You remember that? I mean, Travis was battered in that fight. His body was getting fucked up. Alistair was blasting him in the body with knees. Travis was almost out of it and just gutted it out. I still, to this day, feel like he somehow or another missed his path. You know, I feel like Travis, when he knocked out Stefan Struve, he used to fight different, man. He
Didn't he
was
switch
moving
gyms?
around. Yeah, switch gyms. When he was with Jackson's, he was moving around a lot. He was light on his feet. For whatever reason, man, he decided to switch gyms and became more boxer style, flat-footed.
Yeah.
But I also think sometimes guys get to the point where they just don't want to do it anymore. Or if they do want to do it, they don't want to do it like they used to want to do it. They kind of want to do it. Maybe they kind of want a payday. Or maybe they just want to win so they feel better again, and then they'll pump themselves up again. And maybe I just get this one win.
Yeah.
I'll get back on track. But that weird space of not knowing, am I a warrior? Am I looking to get out? Am I looking
Yeah.
to the future? That weird space is the worst place.
It is.
It's the worst place.
Fighting's just so fucking tough too. You don't know what's going on. They could have ate something. They could have thought about
Yep.
puking the whole night. They
Yep.
could have.
Could be injured.
So
Could be
much
going to the fight
things.
injured. Yeah.
Fuck, it's just
could have
tough.
girlfriend problems. Could have family problems. You know, I mean, But I feel like Travis at his best, there was moments in his career where it was like, this guy, I used to call him the dark horse. I was like, that guy's the dark horse of the heavyweight division. He might be the champ one day. Like, people are sleeping on him. But the movement that guy had for a fucking heavyweight, you would see him switching stances and almost like TJ style movement for
Dominic,
a fucking giant dude, man.
Man, those deer legs when they got going though, huh?
Yeah, that was a problem
Fuckers would
too.
wobble.
Well, that fight with Arlovsky, that was probably when I was convinced that, like maybe like the best times have passed him. Because first of all, I guess him and Arlovsky sparred a lot at Jackson's. And Arlovsky, although he's had a lot of wars and had a lot of losses and been stopped a lot of times, you got to remember at one point in time, Arlovsky was a real world-class fighter, a heavyweight champion who everybody was terrified of. When he knocked out Paul Buentello back in those days, man, he had a piston of a right hand. Just boom, just throw it straight down the middle. And he was still a skillful guy, so apparently in sparring, he would get the best of Travis. So like when they got together, like he had like serious confidence in that fight. That was a slobber knocker. Do you remember that fight?
I don't.
One round of full chaos. Both guys got dropped. It was one of the craziest one-round heavyweight fights of all time. And Arlovsky wound up stopping him.
It's so hard to pick those heavyweight fights.
Yeah.
Hard
It's
to
like
pick any fight.
who
Yeah.
the fuck, whoever lands first, you never know.
Yeah.
I hate trying to guess. Who do you think's gonna win? It's like fuck.
Who the fuck knows?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Seriously.
What do you guys think of this Colby Covington RDA fight this
I'm
weekend?
jacked for that.
Jacked
I
for
hope
that.
RDA busts him up.
Well, Colby's doing what you said you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Talking a lot of shit and getting a lot of people
I'm
paying
still
attention.
I feel like he's doing. I don't know. He's doing what he's doing. It's cool.
People are paying attention. Look,
Yeah.
For sure.
he beat Maia, which is a huge accomplishment, right? Maia's still an absolutely world-class fighter. But other than that, really hasn't beaten big-name guys, and he's fighting for the interim title. You got to think that a lot of that is because he's been very smart
sure.
with promotion.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
Man, that's good. Fuck. That's going to be a good
We'll be
fight.
yeah.
Who
We'll
do you
be in
have?
New Jersey for that.
I don't
you
have
have?
anybody, man. I'm in that same what we just said. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
like the matchup though, because Colby, first of all, Colby's not making 155 unless he cuts a fucking leg off.
Right.
He's a bigger guy. RDA was the 155-pound champion, so you have to think Colby's going to have a size advantage. Colby's a very good wrestler. He's relentless. And he managed to do something that very few people have been able to do with Maia, where he just overwhelmed him, beat him up standing, controlled where the fight took place, won a clear-cut decision, did it in Brazil, and did it after Woodley did it, and did it arguably better than Woodley did it. Yeah. He was on top of Maia. He wasn't avoiding him in the way that Woodley did, but Woodley was injured in that fight. He hurt his shoulder like in the first round. But it was an impressive performance. I mean, if you go back and watch what Maia was able to do with like Rick Story, what Maia's been able to do with Matt Brown, Maia's a fucking monster. When he gets a hold of you, it's such next level jiu-jitsu. Yep. And Colby was really never in trouble in that fight. So you have to look at that and you go, okay, well, obviously he has fantastic defense, solid wrestling base, can strike on the feet, and knows how to fight a grimy, nasty fight. Yep. And he's the bigger guy. But then you look at RDA, and RDA at lightweight was a fucking mauler, was just murking people, right? But then you look at him at welterweight, and you're like, Jesus, he might be better at welterweight. Right. Look how good he looked against Neil Magny. Everybody struggles with Neil Magny. He smashed Neil Magny, took him down, leg kicked him, dropped him, get on top of him, strangle him. I mean, he beat the shit out of Robbie Lawler. That Robbie Lawler fight was crazy. Yeah. Like, he just overwhelmed one of the best strikers in the welterweight division. Overwhelmed him from the outside with angles and technique.
Fuck, dude.
It's interesting, man. It's very, very interesting. It's very interesting.
I'm so mad RDA and Conor never fought.
I know.
I was so jacked for that. That was one of the most exciting. I was so excited for that fight.
He broke his fucking foot, man.
You know who's going to be a problem for a lot of people is that Gregor Gillespie.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking dude.
Oh, yeah.
Super
the
tight
gift.
boxing. 4-time All-American, one-time national champ, Sugar. Tougher than shit. No holes.
See his
not
fight
really
this past
holes.
weekend?
Yeah, I was there. Fuck,
Motherfucker's
dude.
getting better.
What
he's
weight's
getting
that?
better.
55.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's a beast.
Yeah, dude, he's relentless.
He's a beast. Yeah, he's fucking real solid, and he's got that look, just super focused and intense. There's just so much talent right now in MMA. It's just such a great time.
It's growing fast too. I was like watching the little kids at the lab train. I'm like, holy.
Yeah, you'll see little kids hitting flying arm bars and shit. And
Benson Henderson's son is going to be an animal.
How old is he?
was he
two, 3.
Walk around throwing hooks, smiling,
He's
shooting
doing that
double legs.
takedown. What's that
That's
where you
crazy.
throw him?
Yeah, I
He's
forgot.
doing. I don't know.
Imagine
he's
developing that way as a little kid. Just from the time you're little, your body's developing, throwing punches and kicks.
And then having Benson as your dad, teaching your mentality your whole life.
Fuck, man.
Kid's gonna be a stud.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Somebody
super crazy.
put Benson to sleep and shave his head.
Yeah.
His fucking hair's always getting in the way.
Yeah.
Shave his head. Just shave his head. Just put him under. Just put him
Yeah,
under. Wake up with a shaved head.
Oh god.
Come on, man. I know it's kind of your look, but get the fuck out of here with that. He's
I
always doing this
I
in
cornrowed
world
my hair
title
last
fights.
fight. Just
Good-
because
yeah, I know. Look
for
good.
that reason, I was
like
like,
it.
God, that's some.
Shit gets in the way.
It does, and constantly doing that. I mean,
Yeah. Look what Rose did. She's like, fuck
she
it.
said, "Fuck it."
Fuck, I'm going to
She's
shave my head.
badass.
She's a beast.
She's gorgeous too.
She is. She really, and she doesn't play it up at all.
No, which is
Yeah.
hot.
She's cool.
Yeah.
She's cool.
Super honest. It's going to be interesting
powerful
who we
woman.
get for Sugar next because it's probably going to be a 5-rounder.
Well, no, what I was thinking, because originally after that last fight, when we went to the hospital, I remember the post-fight conference, Dana White's like, they said John's foot's fine, because at the hospital they said there was nothing wrong with my foot. And Dana's like said that. So I was thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess nothing's wrong with my foot. I guess I'm going to fight. Because they x-rayed it with my foot up, not flat on the surface.
Oh.
So we were going to fight July 6th. I was going to headline that card. Who? Adesanya?
Israel Adesanya.
He's
Yeah.
he's headlining that card.
Yeah.
I was supposed to headline that card, and I was so excited for that. Because they wanted me to headline it, but I think next fight is gonna be October 6th in Vegas. It's a pay-per-view. I'm hopefully gonna get on that card, but then after that, I would like to headline my own.
Oh, sweet.
So I'd like to fight 2 more times by the end of the year. Everything's going good. So I think October 6th, and then maybe November, December. Would be sweet.
How do you decide when you're ready to go full blast again with your foot? Do you just how
I'm just
it
going,
feels?
yeah.
Do you go to a doctor and get it looked at again? Get an MRI, make sure everything's back in place.
I got an X-ray last time, and they said everything looks good. Come back in 4 weeks, and we'll clear you. But I'm not gonna listen to, like, I know how my foot feels.
Right.
And, like, there's days where it's really sore, and there's days I'm like, dude, it's good. But I know it's just. I feel like I said, about 85%.
And you felt okay today, moving
felt
around?
good today. It was sore. We hit mitts yesterday, and I lifted yesterday, so it's a little bit sore. But it's like a sore from not using it, not like a sore from oh shit.
Injury, right?
So I think it's been healing awesome. I think I've been doing everything right. So I would say 3-4 more weeks, I'll be ready to go 100%.
Did you see the Marlon Moraes fight?
I did. I seen the highlight of it. So pretty much the whole fight. Was it
Dude,
34 seconds?
Tight, wasn't it?
Dude.
That was a
Again,
beautiful switch
You
kick.
don't see those switch kicks that much just because they're so, like, the person has to be coming forward. The distance in MMA is so much different than kickboxing and stuff. Those switch kicks aren't that great, but man, that kid's fucking lightning.
He's a bad motherfucker.
How tall is he?
He's short,
Yeah.
5'5", I think.
Yeah, something like that. He wouldn't be able to
How,
touch
is
Sugar,
Jimmy
but-
Rivera? What is he? He's a little shorter than him.
They're both
About
around
the same,
5'5", 5'6", in that range.
I'm gonna give all these dudes trouble. I'm just gonna be so long. They're not gonna be. They're gonna.
They can't train for you. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They can't train for you because there's not many people who can
I
switch
love
it up.
I love how going into all my fights out there so confident. Just because I feel like you can watch me on TV, you can see, oh yeah, he's fast, he does this, does that. But until I'm in front of you and I'm doing it, I feel like it's another level of speed that they're not prepared for.
Mm.
And I truly believe that. Like, and I truly every fight, like going in that last fight, I was 100% confident I was gonna knock him out. I didn't knock him out, but if I had a couple more seconds in that first round.
And you're so skinny and goofy looking. People in public, dude. People in public fuck with Sugar. Eyeball him like
Today, remember that guy?
Dude,
Where?
at our apartment, we had our first apartment. There's this big jack guy with a wife beater, and we're like, oh, we're both professional fighters. He's like, that kid's a professional fighter? He's like, I want to be a professional fighter. I'm like, well, you come spar Sugar. At the time, I was working at the UFC gym, and I got a key. He's like, all right, I'll be there. Fucking little jack guy with a wife beater. I'm like, okay, perfect. So Sugar comes out.
I knew I wasn't gonna try to.
Teat kicks him right in the way in the ring, and I'm recording it. And the guy goes, ugh. So Sugar's punching him and stuff. Big kick right to the guts. Boom. Poop fell out his pants. He pooped his
shit
pants.
himself in the ring.
And
But I wasn't hitting him in the head hard. I was conscious of I'm not trying to
he-
hurt this guy.
Well, did he train at all, or was he
You
never
know, he's like, I
sparred
want to be a
before?
fighter. So I wasn't
So
trying.
he'd
I
never
wasn't
sparred
busting him
before?
up good.
Jack prison guy like looked hard, thought
He
he
was
ran
our
the
boy
apartment.
after. We were boys after.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. I wasn't being a bully. We was like, you want to like, you sure? Yeah. Oh yeah. And it wasn't. I didn't hurt him. I did hit him with a hard body kick and he shit himself. But I wasn't being a bully
You
after
didn't
that.
fuck
Or,
his
like,
head up.
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
He
Not at
pooped
all.
in the ring though, and they smeared it all around.
So
Who smeared it all around?
We stepped on it.
They didn't
Oh,
know.
you didn't
we
know?
didn't
I didn't
know.
know.
We thought it
And
was
I'm
a
like,
dog.
what the fuck?
Oh,
We thought it was a
Jesus.
dog we
And
brought
he
into
didn't
the
tell
gym?
anybody that he shit himself?
No.
And I
Oh,
told him, I was like,
Jesus.
dude, Tony, you shit
He
yourself.
denied it. He's like, no, that wasn't me.
But I
Like,
had
dude.
it on my phone.
Yeah, I had it on his
no.
phone. It was.
You can watch the poop roll out of his shorts?
Yeah. And then the boys smear it around.
Oh.
But
How'd
it's
you
funny.
clean it up?
He did.
Fucking mopped it.
He did.
But dude, it's funny. Like in public, people always eyeball Sugar. Like, what, little bitch? It's funny.
Oh, people are gross. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there trying to chest puff.
I know it sucks.
And I just like, oh, fuck.
Whatever. Keep it moving.
Yeah.
Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay out of trouble, man. You got a bright future.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I'm staying out of trouble.
No, I feel like you are too. It's sometimes trouble gets in your way, though. you know?
Vegas
It's-
is trouble.
Vegas is.
I went. I've been there a few times. My last time I was there, I went to a pool party, and it was dangerously fun. I was like, oh shit, I can't live here. I can't live here.
Fuck,
I wanted to. I had like one of the best
You
times.
wanted
Like,
to live there?
oh, got a little buzzed up. Just women everywhere, drinking, dancing. I'm like, this is too
What
much.
do you think? Should we take a couple rips?
Right now? Okay.
I actually got some Sugar Show OG. This is
Oh, you got it on you?
yeah.
Okay.
So this is gonna be for sale next Tuesday.
Is that what your shirt is?
Yeah.
Who's making you?
Atrium out in
oh.
California. I met these
Outstanding.
guys. So I met these guys in Fresno, California. We were there for our buddy Hot Sauce's fight. I posted on Instagram. I said, "Hey, does anyone have some weed I could get?" These guys messaged me. They came to me, had like a beautiful little setup with some weed in it, some cartridges, and I was like, "Damn, these guys are a good company." And they're kind of beginning too, and they're super passionate about wanting to get into the industry. So they made this, and
The industry meaning the MMA industry?
no, just like cannabis industry. They're gonna be. They have 6. I think they won 6 awards in the High Times this year. They're amazing. I got you some of
Let
this
me tell you
too.
something about High Times Awards.
Let's hear
okay,
it.
because I was a judge at one of the cannabis cups. Nobody knows what the fuck they're judging. Everybody's high out of their mind. This is what they did on the day that I judged. They gave me. You ever see one of them pill boxes that people get where it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and like each one is like it's-
Nugs.
Yeah. Each one of those had like a little label on it. And each one of them was like, this is like fucking Superstar OG. This is Death Crack. This is... I didn't know what the fuck I was smoking by the time I was on the third one. I was on another planet, man.
Oh,
I
I'm
meing,
sure.
it's in this weird, like I'd separated the membrane between this dimension and the next, and I was like pushed through, like
Trying to act normal.
Just trying to be.
nobody was
breathe,
acting
breathe,
normal, man. It was
breathe.
real weird. I'll never forget the conversations that I was having with some of these people.
That is fucking odd.
This stuff here's your own little joint.
Oh, thank you.
This stuff's a cross between Lemonhead and OG 92. It's very
Tastes good.
the lemon.
But like in this day and age, man, I feel like everybody's weed is good.
Yeah,
I can't remember when was the last time I found bad weed.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Seriously.
do a little ashtray.
Ashtray. There should be one laying here. Oh, it's right over there. Right over there.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
In this
seriously.
day and age, who the fuck has bad weed? It's like, it's everywhere. Even you go all the way to New York. New York is still illegal. It's so strange.
Yeah.
New York
My friend,
is?
my friend Ari lives in New York. He's like, you can get arrested if you're smoking on the street.
Dude, we were supposed to go to Singapore, but now they're not sending us
Oh yeah,
there.
UFC. I was going to go to Singapore for the Singapore card or Singapore. I keep getting made fun of for saying it wrong. Singapore. But they. Oops, sorry, Jamie. They said that you can get tested randomly off the street for weed, and you can go to prison.
What?
So UFC decided not to send me.
Wait a minute.
We'd
Who
both be in
randomly
prison.
tests you?
I don't know. That my manager called me and he said, "Hey, UFC had a little meeting. They said they decided not to bring. They don't really want you to go down there. You can get tested randomly and go to prison if you test for weed. So
Whoa.
I guess we're not going. But
But here's the reality. That means that literally like 70% of the UFC fucking
Couldn't go
roster
there.
could get
Oh,
tested for
fucking
weed.
80.
Yeah, for
90.
sure. All the coaches.
But we're going to Canada.
Isn't that funny, man? That's the thing about the misconception about marijuana. People think like, oh, stoners are lazy and this. That. A giant percentage of the UFC roster smokes pot. on a fairly regular basis.
I mean, even NFL. I think just in sports in general.
Yeah. Look, I mean, especially if you got injuries and you want to relax and CBD, just CBD alone. I mean, goddamn, fucking everybody should use that. I have a buddy of mine, my friend Aaron, and he was taking ibuprofen. He was taking it all the time. I go, man, you got to listen to me. Stop taking that shit. I go, just get some CBD and just take it orally and then also rub it on whatever's bothering you. And he did it, and he's like, dude, 11 days, no pain.
Damn.
He goes, I can't believe I've been taking this fucking ibuprofen forever. Fuck. Now he's just taking CBD oil.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nothing negative. No, doesn't fuck your gut bacteria up. Doesn't ruin your body. Doesn't get you high. Doesn't do anything bad.
Rhonda goes off about ibuprofen, doesn't she? Rhonda Patrick.
Yeah, she was telling me how bad it is for your gut bacteria.
Seriously, gut bacteria. I feel like it's one of the most obviously one of the most important things that people just don't really know about.
I
Like
think you're absolutely
probiotics.
right.
Like if I can tell, if I have enough probiotics for the day, I can tell. My gut health feels way better than if I don't. I love kombucha. You like
Love
kombucha?
it. Drink it every day.
Kombucha is amazing.
Did you try that new watermelon flavor, the GTS kind?
No, I mostly have either the really green one or the Gingerade or the original.
Oh,
Those are
okay.
the three ones that I like
Nice.
the
Or
best.
the original ones.
Trilogy's good too. I like that one too. Sometimes I like the grape. The grape's had a little bit too much sugar in it, I think.
Oh, does it?
It's sweet. If you look at
Okay.
how much sugar's in there. But still,
grape.
super good for your body.
Yeah, probiotics. They're
So my friend Cameron Haynes is an ultra marathon runner, and he was heavily hooked on ibuprofen. He was taking 800 milligrams a day, sometimes more than once a day.
Damn.
And I did the podcast with Rhonda, and Dr. Rhonda Patrick was going over all the dangers of nonsteroidal anti-inflammatories and ibuprofen, talking about the increased risks of strokes and all these different things. And I called him up. I go, dude, you got to get off that shit right now. I go, that stuff's terrible for you. So here's where it gets crazy. He gets off of it, and all of his pain goes away. So the reason why he was taking it was because he was in pain. I'm good.
Shit, seriously?
And for him, at least, the inflammation that it was causing him, probably because he was taking too much as well. You know, a lot of people think like, hey, it says take 2, I'll take 6.
I'm a
Fuck
beast.
it. Right. And when you do that, you're torching your fucking gut bacteria. So he's creating all this internal inflammation, which is in turn leading to all this pain, which is in turn making him want to take ibuprofen.
damn.
Yeah.
Dude, and that's our, like, lucky to have friends that
What is
want to
this?
just help each other like
Mandatory drug testing. In Singapore, you can be dragged into custody without a warrant and be compelled to submit to drug testing by Singapore authorities. As Singaporean drug counselor and ex-detainee Tony Tan explains, penalties for the first time you're caught or for drug consumption is 1 year. The second time is 3 years, and the third time is 5 minimum with 3 strokes of the cane, says Tan. Consumption just means that your urine has tested positive.
We'd be heading to the slammer.
Yeah, I ain't trying to go there.
Dude, I am not trying to go there.
We were pumped. I was not pumped for the flight. I've never been on a long flight, and I was not pumped for that. But I was pumped to go and check it out. I've never been out of the country.
But here's a weird one with that. Like, how many weeks out are we talking about? Like consumption? You mean if you test anything?
The article says that there's a lot of Singaporeans that try to take drug trips, and they get caught when they come back because it's still in their system.
Poor guys.
Oh my
Poor,
50 people a year. So
50 people a year do a
average.
year? A year in
It's
jail
different
for that.
drugs, also ecstasy, anything. It's
Oh
not
my
just weed.
God. Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Damn it.
That's scary.
That's we're dealing. I mean, this is human beings, 2018. So you can live like we live here in California, where weed is legal, and if you're a grown adult, just like you could buy a drink, you could buy a joint, which it should be. It should have been a long time ago. And then there's places where they just put you in a cage.
North Korea.
Yeah, dude.
That shit is insane to think about. Because they can't. They don't even have like smartphones or that stuff, right? They don't have internet.
I don't know what they have. I think
guess
they have
they
some
do.
sort of a small internet that only uses like North Korea channels and shit like that. I don't think they get the regular internet.
That's
No
crazy.
way.
They're living there today.
Yeah, dude. They're
That's
living
so
today under
sad.
the grip of a dictator.
It's so easy for us to bitch about random stuff being here, but we're so
Traffic.
lucky.
Yeah.
Fuck,
Well, how
we're
about the
lucky.
fact that the Korean guy who runs it is friends with Dennis Rodman?
I know. I was talking to my little brother about that the other day. I was like,
What?
Wait,
Really?
You're serious?
Yeah, man. He's friends with
Only
Dennis
person I talk
Rodman. Like,
to.
what the hell?
How fucking.
Dennis,
that is
text him real quick,
crazy.
dude. Just see if he texts back.
That is fucking crazy.
That is fucking.
Dennis
crazy.
parties with that dude.
He parties with him.
Like, has he been to North Korea?
Oh, yeah. I think more than once.
Is
right?
that in the? Is that? Do they make? What was that movie they make fun of North Korea?
The interview.
Was
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman in that too or no? Oh.
That movie
Funny.
seems like a big risk.
No, I know. I was thinking that too.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't talk about that movie.
Well, aren't they all having a meeting here soon?
Trump
Donald
and them?
and
I
the
think they were
Korean
supposed
leaders.
to meet in Singapore.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
people were talking about how dangerous it was to meet in Singapore. Dennis Rodman will be in Singapore during Trump King Summit.
Dude, Sugar, we got to get in on that
This
party.
is 5 hours
I gotta
ago?
be like, Kim.
Oh, so they are going to Singapore. See, there's some people that were saying they shouldn't do it in Singapore because Singapore has such a horrible human rights record.
Damn. So some shit could be going down.
Yeah, I don't see if Singapore really does lock you up like that just for pot. Like that is some.
Not somewhere you want to have a meeting with like that.
But that doesn't make any sense. Like that's an illogical
That's
government.
weird.
That's these people are running under the grip of they're living. They're afraid of lies, right? Like what are they afraid of with this marijuana? I mean, what do they think it's going to do? What are they afraid of with people taking drugs?
Open people's mind like a little bit.
The fact that they think that they've made it so that they can just lock you up in a cage if you do something with your body that they don't want you to do.
Fucking wild,
weird.
dude.
Because they've decided that this is some sort of a bizarre form of dictatorship that they can get away with.
Seriously.
Fuck, man. That is nuts that that's happening while we're living here this way.
Chilling.
Trump, Kim, Singapore summit venue is set.
Trump. Who the fuck would want to be the president?
Well, who would want to be the president when you're already a
Holy-
billionaire?
Dude,
that sounds so stressful.
imagine the sit-in on that
Waking up,
meeting.
be like, fuck my life.
sit
You
in on
know,
that
the
meeting.
crazy thing is this dude has always been this way. And everybody's shocked that he's this way now that he's the president.
Right.
And it's not just that they're shocked. It's just like it is shocking. Like this Philadelphia Eagles thing. Like not enough of them wanted to come to the White House, so he canceled the meeting and said that they
Uninvited
wouldn't
them.
kneel. They didn't kneel for the national anthem.
Holy
And so
smokes.
then if they find out that no, those fucking guys, none of them kneeled for the national anthem. They all stood.
Damn.
So Trump said something along the lines of, I fucked it up. He said something along the lines of that some of them didn't stand for the national anthem. But it turns out it was only one guy that kneeled, and the one guy that kneeled was cut before the regular season. So during the regular season, everybody was standing for the national anthem. So he said something that wasn't even true.
Damn.
He just didn't want a small crowd of dudes. He didn't want like 3 dudes that are like second stringers.
ego.
Like, hey, Donald,
Yeah.
it's fucking party.
The kickers.
Fuck
The backup
that.
kicker.
You can tell we're all high because our mouths are all dry.
I know, right? So, the mayor of Philadelphia or the governor of Pennsylvania? Which one was it? Was it the mayor of Philadelphia? Somebody went after him, and he said what a fragile ego he has, that he just couldn't deal with not having a party,
Seriously. With not enough people.
having a party that people didn't want to go to.
Damn.
It's
Fuck
just
that.
that kind of shit is like part of him, the showman. Like that's the act that Trump, the showman, has been involved in his whole life, right? It's like everything he does is the best and pumping everything up, and we expect differently now that he's the president. And that's where it's also strange, because this is just kind of, people are really angry at it because he's doing it as the president, but this is like what he's always done. He's like a branding genius.
Seriously.
And it's weird because we're seeing it as a president, and we're like, well, this is not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to like bend the truth as the president. But like that bending of the truth in his eyes is always how he lived. He was the Trump guy. He's the fucking guy
Damn,
who
now he runs.
ran
this.
The Apprentice.
That's crazy.
Now he runs
Freaky.
the country.
That's insane.
It's fucking
I
freaky.
never followed politics ever, and I have no idea about
I
any
bet
politics.
if he in any way thought it was going to be like this, he would have never signed up for it. That's what I thought.
You think so?
Yeah,
It's
man.
not going the way you think?
Don't you
Come
think
on.
he would bitch about it though? Like,
Yeah, he would bitch about it, but that's part of his thing, man. The crazy thing is there was no one on the Republican side that was capable of challenging him. That's the problem. The problem was that they didn't have anybody, and so all of a sudden this guy's in there. And he's in there. He's probably thinking he's going to lose, and then he likes to win at shit. So he's like, God, yeah, fuck it, I'm just going to be president. And the next thing you know, he is the president.
Yeah.
But he's still the same guy, man. He's still the guy from The Apprentice. And that's not his
The
fault.
Apprentice.
That's
No,
who
no,
he
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's who he is. Like, to ask a guy to change that much at 70 is crazy. I think the best thing about it is it highlights how ridiculous this whole process is. And the idea of having one person run 300 million people, that's insane.
and you pick that person.
It's insane. And we don't even know what we're
And
doing.
Are we even picking?
Well, we don't even know what we're doing. How much of what we paying? How much of like what the bills are about and all these amendments? How much of any of that shit do you pay attention to when Congress is in session or the Senate rules on things? How much do we pay attention? How much does everybody pay attention? How much do you even know what someone's actual real policies are? At least their stated policies when you're voting for them. What is it, like 10% people?
Seriously.
You know, like you hear who you're supposed to vote for. You know, vote for Hillary Clinton because Donald Trump's a bad person. You know, vote for Hillary Clinton. She's the most qualified for the job. And you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. People are like, you are voting for Hillary Clinton, aren't you? She's the most qualified for the job. You're like, okay, yeah. I want to be a good person. So I'm going to vote for Hillary. Yeah. What about Jill Stein? You know, Jill Stein's a woman, too. You know, Jill Stein is brilliant. You know, Jill Stein is, okay, shit, I'm going to go progressive.
Yeah, but her stance
I'll go
on
Jill
this.
Stein. Yeah,
Like, no,
and then there was Elizabeth Warren might have lied about being part American Indian. That was a problem.
Oh my
so it was like who was going to go? It was Bernie Sanders, and then all that shit with him and Hillary Clinton. It's that the whole story is so bizarre. Like watching it all play out on TV, it's so strange. It's so strange that this is our form of government. Like you would think this is my thought. You would think with the kind of things, the organism that is a human being, the kind of thing that could figure out a way to make sound, go through a metal thing covered in foam, goes through wires, and in real time hits people in their ears. If they're streaming, they could have headphones on, be on the train right now, and they're getting this in real time. That we can send video through the sky and it can hit Australia. Your friends can text you pictures back and forth from Africa. They could be in Africa and, dude, I just saw a leopard. And they send you a fucking photo and you're like, holy shit, that's flying through the sky. And yet, the best way we can figure out who's in control of the nuclear weapons is to have a popularity contest.
Put Donald in there.
Yo, we're crazy. People are crazy. We're the craziest thing.
God, it's nuts.
We're in like this wave of like being evolved and not being evolved at the same time, like technologically, spectacularly evolved to the point where we can bend matter and create nuclear weapons and fly robots to Mars and take pictures and send them back to us. Like the shit that we can do is off the charts when it comes to like technology and our ability to manipulate the world around us and create giant buildings and structures and airplanes and bridges and shit. But the monkey interaction thing is still not very good. So we still have war. We still have places where we send people over with metal tanks and guns and shoot people and protect people from the other people that are shooting people and get involved in all these fucking crazy things. Our physical interactions as organisms are just still in this barbaric stage. We're still in this one tribe going after another tribe stage from 20,000 years ago, 30,000 years ago. It's like the same programming. But now this programming can fly jets filled with missiles and shoot them out of the sky and sneak up on you underwater in a metal tube, a submarine that shoots fucking nuclear missiles and shit underwater. I mean, we're in the weirdest flux. We're in this weird sort of unbalanced period in the evolution of the human organism because we can do so much.
And then put Donald in charge.
Yeah, and then we're mad about fucking everything. We're mad about men who decide they're women who want to use the girls' room. We're mad about everything. We're mad about religion. We're mad about rights and gender and everything. Everything we're mad. Everyone's mad. Fuck Roseanne Barr. Everyone's mad. Everyone is so mad. And while all this weird personal interaction shit is happening that's distracting the fuck out of us, the more it ramps up, the better AI gets. Artificial intelligence they just keep working on it and keep getting better and better. We're going to be in like a full-on rock fight when AI goes live. It's like we're falling into this whole, like if this was a trap, if I was artificial intelligence and I knew I'd be like, well, this is what we'll do. We'll just go back in time and set people up and make them make us. We'll just plant this idea in their heads and just like an aquatic worm makes a caterpillar or one of those grasshoppers rather jump into a pool and drown itself so that it can swim out of its brain. You ever see one of those things happen? Just like that, AI's doing that with us. They give us shiny Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Look at how big the battery is. And now it takes photos of your face and knows your face. You can tell your face. Yeah, Face ID and fingerprints. And before you know it, listen, we found the best way to get a signal, to talk to people. You just stick it in your ass. Yeah. It's a little pellet. We're going to put a little robot dick in our ass. But that pellet, if you could just hold it in your ass, it's smooth, dude. You barely know it's in there. Okay. But it connects with, your ass is open. It's not like the rest of your skin. You're not going to keep it in your mouth, right? Well, the ass is the way to go because it's like open. It's not like don't have to go through the dermis. And so that just connects with you, and you can fucking see augmented reality with a little tiny robot dick. It's about that big. You barely feel it. It's like a BB. That's what's gonna happen, dude.
Fucking probably right.
Dude, these things are growing.
Well,
now
with the anti-aging shit too. Who knows how crazy that's gonna get?
I think what the weirdest thing is not the anti-aging. I think we're gonna run into biological limitations. I think the weirdest shit is gene editing.
Fuck. Yeah,
this podcast took a turn for the stoner.
Gene editing.
We're like,
what?
fuck.
Gene editing scares the shit out of me.
Was that on Explained? On Explained, that new Netflix show, Gene Editing, and
Perhaps
how
I didn't
deep
see that
shit's gonna get.
What about Wild Wild Country?
I only watched the first episode, but I was like, holy shit! I see where this is going.
I watched
we need
the
to follow
first and the
Osho,
second.
baby.
Osho.
Fuck everyone.
Oh
Dude,
my
Osho
God.
is the man.
Dude.
As far as second season, I don't know. It might. I don't know what else
It
happened.
takes a turn, but like
I'm sure
he
it does.
still had good intentions. I think.
Trying to build a community. I'm just passionate.
Well,
love.
this is the thing. It's the fucking human interaction part is the part that we can't get right. It's real weird.
It is.
If you look at all the different kinds of interactions that we manage to successfully navigate, I mean, people obviously have problems in business, and there's lawsuits in business, and there's people that get fired, and there's all sorts of problems with people doing business. But overall, they get a lot of things done, right? Like business keeps improving, things keep getting better. We barely improve with how we treat each other. Like the way human beings treat each other, we barely get better at that. And we do react to things better. Like if we're mad at someone for doing something, that's where we're like more clear with like egregious violations of our code, right? Like racism. Like this Roseanne thing was a big one, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, no fucking way. We're not tolerating that. Fuck her. And then ABC's like, yep, fuck it. We're pulling the plug on the show. It's like immediate reactions.
Yep.
So it's like I don't think it was right. I think she's got a lot of problems, and she's taking a shitload of pills, and she's all fucked up. And I know she's not racist. At least she tells me that. But what I do know is that racism is horrible, and people just don't want to tolerate it anymore. And that's what the good thing is. The good thing is like this overwhelming response from people that they're not tolerating racism anymore. You can't do that anymore. Yeah. We won't tolerate it. Mm-hmm. And this is fairly new, man. I mean, with the civil rights marches, that was in the 60s, right? I mean, think about what was going on in the 50s and the 40s, and that shit, that was not that long ago in terms of like how long there's been people. So we're dealing with this radical change in this regard, but very little change in like our kindness to each other.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's why, dude, start the American Mushroom Day.
No
or not
shit.
the American, the worldwide.
Ari Shaffir has a
God,
holiday that he
beautiful.
created called Shroom Fest.
No way.
What's the date?
Yeah, it's several days. Ari doesn't fuck around.
That's so sweet.
Ari
Well, I'm
hasn't had a
joining.
real job since he was the doorman at the Comedy Store, so
That's
he
badass.
operates on his own schedule.
That's fucking sweet.
That's what it's gonna take for
Yeah.
something like that worldwide to change.
It'll certainly help. Shroom Fest will certainly help.
Shroom
Shrooms will
Fest.
help.
I'm promoting that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
feel like part of it is because we're scared. I legitimately feel like we're scared. And I think when someone like Trump is in office, we're more scared because we realize how easy it is for I hate to use the term regular person because he's definitely not a regular person. He's very successful and very famous, and everybody knew who he was. But regular person in terms of that's not how a politician acts. Like that, this is like some crazy showman.
Yeah.
And when a crazy showman becomes the leader of the thing, whether or not he's doing good, I'm not even arguing politically whether he's doing good or bad or the economy's up because of him. I don't know. But it's just how he behaves. It's who he is. Like that freaks people out. That makes people more on edge. And so they're more angry, and they're more looking to call people out on things, and they're more looking to stomp out racism. And I get it.
Imagine what people would think if someone like Sam Harris was a president or something, and he was talking about a National Mushroom Day or talking about that stuff, how bad people would freak out.
Seriously.
They would freak.
Or
Well,
they
there's
just
people that
conform-
disagree with
conform.
Sam too. There's a ton
Yeah.
of very, very smart people that disagree with Sam. You know, and it's really interesting to see those disagreements, because when really high-level intellects debate each other about things or disagree on things, and you get to see not just their ideas play out and how their ideas work against the other person's ideas, you get to see that, but you also get to see, like, thinking and communicating at a super high level. Right, their intellectuals are trying to outsmart each other.
Yeah.
So they're debating about, you know, the existence of God or whatever the fuck it is. When you get really smart people who disagree on shit, very fascinating. It's like one of the more interesting things to watch. It's like, in a lot of ways, high-level jiu-jitsu, you know?
Sure.
In a lot of ways. You're watching like, oh, okay. And those guys, a lot of them get into like Harris is into jiu-jitsu.
Is he?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's into it. It's
so
because he's kind of doing jiu-jitsu when he's doing these debates.
Yeah. Damn, that's
Jiu-jitsu.
nuts.
I want my little brother to do it so bad. He won't try it.
Well, it's probably hard. His brother's a fucking MMA star, and he's like,
Yeah.
I know,
I'm
but
doing my own shit, bro.
I know he would like to just be
Yeah.
like, it could be his
That's
passion.
good.
Like he doesn't really
Right.
have a passion right now. I'm like, dude, you could try jiu-jitsu and it could, you know, that's people.
Well, for smart people, I think it's the
And my
one of
little
the
brother's
best
so
sports.
smart. I'm like, dude, you could be so good at jiu-jitsu and
Yeah.
love it.
It is very smart. There's a lot of super smart. Eddie always calls them his nerd assassins. Super smart
that's
dudes
funny.
that are really good at jiu-jitsu. Scary good.
I think like getting a black belt from someone good is one of the hardest degrees out there to get in any college or anything.
Well, physically, the thing about college is if you put in the work and you're smart enough, it's possible. I mean, you can do it. I mean, it's a possible achievement. A lot of people have done it. A lot of people do it every year.
Yeah.
But to really get a black belt, like you gotta get better. Like you have to get better. You gotta get strong. You're gonna get choked a lot. And how are you built? Are you built normal? Like, are you small?
Yeah.
If you're small, you're extra super fucked, right?
How's your ego?
Yeah.
Like,
How's your ego? Can you learn?
Fuck, jiu-jitsu's
Do you know how to
so
tap? Because if you don't tap, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Like almost every significant injury I ever got doing jiu-jitsu, other than like one fucked up knee, which was just a weird passing the guard thing. My ACL popped. But almost every other one was from not tapping.
Yeah.
Just decide you're not going to tap. Like, I'm going to try to get out of this. I'm going to try to, and someone's got you in a darce or something like that, and your shit's all fucking cranked over. And then for the next week, you're like, oh, you get that tightness in the middle of
That's
your
the
back.
worst.
Like, why didn't I just tap? I should have just tapped.
John Crouch always told me, he's like, dude, you're just so tough when you get in submissions. People can't tap you out, but I want you to just focus on not getting there. So when you get there, just tap right away. Just focus on not getting there.
That's very smart, because you know what? You're always going to be tough. And there's a certain, I mean, you need to know a certain amount of high-level defense. Like, how long can you survive in a certain spot if you actually have to survive? But in training, you're not really surviving, right? You should just tap sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with knee shit and arm shit, and you know, you pop something and then it's fucked for 6 months.
Yeah. That's what we're going to be focused on a lot with Sean, is a lot of legs and heel hooks, knee bars, the lower half of the body for
Who
the
you
next
guys
few months.
working with that on?
Augusto Mendez Taquino.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super high level.
It's fun. They have competition roles. It's like all the black belt. Like what is it? 6, 7 black.
6-7 black belts, and we do 10-minute rounds usually.
Tim goes
Back to back.
It was fun.
That leg lock game is hitting at an extremely high level right now in jiu-jitsu and
scary.
now trickling into MMA, you know, with Dylan Dennis, like the way he looked in Bellator.
I think slowly in MMA it's going to be tough, because on a lot of spots you're getting punched.
Yeah.
And then one punch, solid punch in the right spot, changes their game.
Yeah.
Puts a little fear in their mind. So then,
For sure. But if those guys can get good enough to strike, to become a threat, like a guy like Gary Tonin, woo, that's scary. That's a scary dude.
It really is.
Scary man. Because he gets a hold of that leg, you're in trouble, son.
seriously, steps ahead.
That Danaher Death Squad man. Danaher's a real wizard, man. Someone get him a hat with stars on it. That dude's
is.
little moons and stars. He's a wizard.
Someone who studied philosophy like that and just is a type of person like that, it's fucking pretty cool.
Yeah, and that shit that he wrote. You should read that thing that he wrote about routine. It's really interesting.
Oh,
He
hell
writes
yeah.
a lot of really cool,
Damn,
smart
hell yeah.
shit.
Check it out for sure.
His Instagram is filled with cool, smart shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's got a DVD series out now, a leg lock series. He shot it and he didn't like it all, so he reshot it. He just reshot it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's gonna be funny to see how far those leg lock game will go in MMA before we evolve more and then find the counter to that. It's like,
Well, what's interesting to me is that this is essentially all out of a conversation that he had with Dean Lister. You know, and it's become a meme now. It's really funny. There's a photo of a girl lying in bed, and she's like, he's probably thinking about another woman. And the guy's sitting there going, yeah, why would you ignore 50% of the human body?
I saw that exact one.
that
is fucking funny.
and I love how John Danaher said it too. Why would you? He said it.
Why
It was-
would you? Yes, why would you? Why would you ignore 50% of the human body?
And we're like,
50% of the body. It makes you uncomfortable around. He's super smart.
that's awesome.
Just you know, he's like, if you're a blue belt and you roll with a black belt, you always feel a little weird around him.
Yeah,
That's how I feel around him intellectually.
I bet.
Not just physically, but you're like, okay, you tell me what it is. I'm not arguing with you, man.
You should say, John, take a puff of this.
Does he get high at all?
I don't know.
He
Imagine.
probably doesn't have to. He probably can do it to his own brain. I'll
No
just put
shit.
myself in a perfect position.
You wonder if someone like Elon Musk gets high.
Oh, I would hope so.
Holy shit,
That
dude.
motherfucker.
That guy's on another level.
Aren't they building those tunnels already under LA? Or are they built?
Yeah, man, they're building that. He's got a boring company. They're gonna bore holes through LA and reinforce them, and you're gonna go through on sleds.
I think they're all like getting done right now.
Dude, I do not want to be in one of those things and hear the rumble of the earth and see the ocean rushing down that
my
pipe. You're like,
God. That would be gnarly.
imagine
That's a movie.
the tsunami hits. The tsunami hits while you're in one of those pipes.
I wonder if you thought of that.
And your
That
butt's
big,
just tightened up.
Big wave coming from the middle of the ocean.
Dude.
And it pulls back, and thousands of fucking miles of the earth have been torn apart. That shit's happened a gang of times.
Seriously, like
A
when's it
gang
gonna
of
happen
times.
soon? Never know.
Dude, that shit has happened many times. What happened in Fukushima has happened a ton of times. We don't live long. So these things, they seem like they're forever ago.
Right.
But it's based on our lifespan. Our lifespan is so weird because it's really short. You know, and it seems like it's not because you're in the middle of it. But if you look at it objectively, it does. No one makes it out alive, and it doesn't take that too long for your body to give up. So by the time you start figuring things out and getting your shit together, you're already old. Yeah. And your body's
Seriously.
falling apart. And all the while, we're dealing with a planet whose time is almost infinite, right? For in terms of like what we can understand. So all these things that we know have happened, even if we study super volcanoes and tsunamis and cataclysmic earthquakes and solar flares, even when we study all those things, man, we don't think they're real. They're like, yeah, but it's it's Guatemala. It's only happening in Guatemala. Yeah, it's Hawaii, but hey, they knew they were on an island.
Yeah.
We can't control this thing.
Any
We built a
fucking
bunch of
time.
houses because we don't think very good, because we don't realize that this might not be here in a year. There might come a giant wave that hits with those fucking houses that are perched in Santa Monica, perched over the water in Malibu and shit. Like,
Jesus.
what are you doing?
Fuck,
Shit.
How are you so confident that water's not going to move?
Fuck.
Because it hasn't moved in 30 years. That's a second.
No shit.
In the life of the Earth, 30 years is a second.
Yep.
That's insane.
You put your house on the edge of an alien world that moves back and forth.
And there's one contractor who made that decision. It'll hold up.
Well,
It'll
these
be good.
guys just decide, man, I want to wake up in the morning because I'm a winner, and I want to do my coffee, and I want to do my Coke, and I want to look out the window and I want to see the fucking ocean.
Money.
Yeah,
Money buys
seriously.
anything.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Super amped up Adderall dudes trying to run the world. Staring at that water. It looks great. Fuck yeah. Kicking ass. Look at that water.
Everyone's looking at them like they got it figured out. And they don't.
That's what?
Oh my God. Luxury home teeters on collapsing off cliff. So the cliff gave up and the house is still there.
It's in Texas, actually, but
Oh, is it really? Oh, is that Austin?
it's Fort Worth.
Oh, Dallas.
Look at that one right above it.
Yo, you got to fix that. Whoever the contractor is, you're getting sued.
What?
I don't think that's real.
Oh,
Are you sure?
No, maybe. I don't know.
Jamie, is that real?
cool house cleaning.
Oh my God, that's
Look
a
at
real
that
house?
Mini Cooper. Looks
Who
fake
would-
as fuck.
Who would trust that fucking shitty idea of a house hanging off the edge of a cliff?
Oh, it makes you feel.
Whoa, look at that thing. That's beautiful. Is that real?
Futuristic shit.
Oh,
That's
that
what it
looks
said.
fake. That looks faker than this one. This one might be real.
Oh, wow. He parks his car on top of that. What if you heard in the middle of the night? You hear clink.
Oh fuck.
You're like, oh my God, we gotta get the fuck off the house.
Honey, we're dropping
Quick.
down.
Wait, I can't find my phone. Run! Fucking run! Run!
God, let Ricky grab his iPad.
Ah! You're running off in the distance, holding the baby under your arm, and you fucking see the house fall off the side of the cliff. Boom. Boom.
Oh, it is real.
It's
What?
real.
In Australia.
Oh my God. People are crazy.
You couldn't smoke. I'd get too paranoid.
Australians don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck.
Oh, is that in Australia?
Those are exceptional humans.
Sweet.
I'm a big fan of the Australians.
Might be fake.
Really?
Sorry. I found an article that looked like it said it was real, and then I just was looking for more, and it said it might. Like Google said fake after it.
Oh, well.
Sorry.
You know what's funny to
Looks
me, like
badass.
a switch in subjects, but like seeing people that are married, husbands that are married to their wife, just going through the classic role of get married and you got your wife and you don't talk to her and go to the boys.
Netflix series Explained.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Go ahead.
Did you watch that at all?
Explained? No.
Yeah,
Who's doing that one?
I'm not sure who's doing that one, but it talks about all that stuff, like how
Monogamy was created.
how males aren't made for monogamy. They're just not.
Well, humans are built more for a tribe.
Explained. Yeah. Well, that's probably based on my friend Dr. Chris Ryan's book, which is Sex at Dawn, which is that what it's based on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that mentions that.
He's in it.
Oh, he's in it.
He's
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big proponent of that idea. It makes a lot of sense if you look at the way chimps behave. Right?
Yeah.
We were the cousins of chimps, and chimps fuck everybody. Everybody fucks everybody. So the idea is like, how did we get to a place where everybody stopped fucking everybody? And somewhere along the line in evolution, it shifted. Whether it's
Jealousy.
cultural
Ego.
evolution. Yeah, there's a lot of theories, man. There's a lot of theories. Terrence McKenna had some weird ideas about it. His theories were all drug-based. He felt it was a mushroom thing. He felt like climate change caused people to move from a mushroom culture to an alcohol culture, and that the death of the ego and the expanding consciousness and the community feelings that you would get from communal mushroom trips all were replaced by drunken assholishness and chaos.
sense.
And he really he broke it down. He's not alive anymore, but when he was alive, he broke it down pretty eloquently. It's not something I'm smart enough to know if he's right or if he's wrong, but it's a very compelling argument that because we know that they used to definitely do a lot of mushrooms. We know the Vikings did a lot of mushrooms. We know that there's a bunch of ancient art pieces that show mushrooms, and even people that were under the spell of the mushroom, like a person, like a really old one. Jack Herer was showing all these. Jack Herer was this great weed activist who wrote a book called The Emperor Has No Clothes. It's all a book about him being a Goldwater Republican and finding marijuana and then becoming like this marijuana advocate and a hero for marijuana. And he was in the middle of writing a book, and part of the book was about mushrooms and mushrooms in the history of Christianity. And he had all this ancient artwork that had mushroom iconography, like mushroom images in it. And he was like, this shit was everywhere. He unfortunately had a stroke and then wound up dying. He was a great man. And in the world of marijuana, he's certainly a hero. Risked his neck like way, way early on, and stood by his beliefs and caught a lot of shit for his book, but also got a lot of love for how he stood for a guy opening up his mind and changing his mind. I mean, he was a staunch Republican.
Damn.
Started smoking pot and became like this crazy pot advocate. And his next thing was about mushrooms.
Man, how awesome is that?
There's a lot of stuff out there that you can read. There's a lot of good articles online where people have shown there's ancient images of Adam and Eve from a fresco in France from like a long fucking time ago. See if you can see that Adam and Eve mushroom fresco.
Just like you were saying, Sean, you're like, how do we know like some of that Bible wasn't people writing stories on mushrooms?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, there's a lot of people that believe it's entirely possible that that's the case. There was actually a recent scholar from Jerusalem that thinks, see, this is the image. Damn. That's Adam and Eve, and look at those mushrooms.
And not even mushrooms, ayahuasca for those Bible stories. It's like, holy.
Well, who knows? I mean, who knows when they figured out ayahuasca, right? And who got a hold of it? We know that they had it in South America thousands of years ago. We don't know how many thousands, though. Apparently, it's really hard to figure out. But look at that image. 13th century fresco depicting an Adam and Eve in the tree of knowledge. The tree appears to be modeled after an Amanita muscaria mushroom.
Holy smokes.
This is the tree of knowledge. I mean, dude, this is from the 1200s, right?
Holy.
So this is closer to the bone than the original story than we are now in
Aren't
terms
mushrooms
of.
going to be legal? Is that on the ballot? Or
No,
something?
I think there's
Is it like
something on the ballot in California to legalize it. God, I hope they do, even if they
That
just
would
do
be
it for therapy.
Seriously.
Yeah, just
But
for
the
therapy.
thing is, there's a lot of these old pictures that have mushrooms in with religious icons. It's real weird, man. Like, look at this, Jesus with mushrooms at his feet. There's a
Man,
bunch of
that's
these.
crazy.
There's a bunch of these really old, weird pictures. But the thing is, like, what is it evidence of? Is it evidence that mushrooms were involved in the creation of Christianity? Possibly, but it's also evidence that artists do drugs. You know,
Seriously.
that
For
too,
real.
man.
No
If
shit.
you're a fucking guy who's a painter back then, maybe you're doing mushrooms all the time, and you want to put the mushrooms in everything.
Damn.
We don't really know.
Yeah.
Never
I mean,
will either. It's crazy.
especially if he's doing mushrooms and nobody else even knows what they are. He's like, listen to this motherfucker. But I gotta think that everybody knew about him back then, and they probably shared him with people that they cared about. Because if you lived in a world with, just think of it this way, you lived in a world with no media, you have no books, you have no science, you have stories, you have a crude language, you write things down, you draw things. There's no TV shows, there's no cars, there's no nothing. There's no history. You have history of talking about shit. Wouldn't you think if you found mushrooms, if your life sucked that much ass, like this is the world you're living in, there's barbarians everywhere, and you get fucking step on a thorn and you get poison in your body and you die because no one has antibiotics. You get an infection from a cut, you're dead. I mean, this is how people existed back then. Do you think if they found mushrooms that they wouldn't cherish them? Like that someone
Yeah,
would somehow or another
seriously.
demonize them?
For real.
Seriously.
If they had nothing else, why would they demonize mushrooms? They demonized it after they figured it out. After they figured out, like, hey, like they probably went big gaps without having it. That's the theory. They probably went like big gaps where mushrooms weren't a part of culture anymore, and then people tried to reintroduce them, but culture had already gone in this weird sort of violent chimp alcohol amphetamines way.
Damn.
Damn. Fuck.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's not like we're making something up. Like this is some Alice in Wonderland book where there's some medicine that says drink me, and if we drink, we're going to go on this journey.
Yeah.
That's just a book. Mushrooms are real,
Yeah.
and they're everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, there's parts of the country, they're just fucking growing constantly.
It's crazy. When you talk about people that were living back in that day and how tough it was, you wonder if they had just like as much happiness as we have.
If they're more positive thinking or what?
You know what I mean? Like
It's a good question.
like because they didn't know any better.
They might have had
So
more.
It's like
Here, this guy that wrote this book, Jesse Itzler, this book that's in front of you, Living with a Seal, he also wrote a book, Living with Monks, and he was just here, and he just was talking about it. It was really fucking interesting shit, man.
damn, I bet.
With the
Really interesting
monks?
shit. Yeah, but one of the things he was telling me was like how happy these guys are. They just meditate all day. They just do their job. They train dogs, and they meditate all day.
That's crazy.
But he was like, they're all really happy. And he was like, how many people do you think in the real world are really happy? I'm like, I don't know. And he said 60-something%. What do you say? 67? 67%
I wonder
of
how
people
they got
are
that.
unhappy.
I wonder how they
Are
got that.
unhappy?
Unhappy.
Yeah, yeah. Makes
67% are unhappy.
Oh, I'm sure. Fuck, dude. Even that, I'm like, oh, really? Like, there's what, 33% people happy? That's more than I expected.
truly that are truly happy,
Truly happy.
doing what they want every day. Yeah, there's not.
That's hard.
God, I'm so
You're lucky.
Or
Super
so
lucky.
lucky.
Yeah.
Super.
God.
Super lucky.
Anybody out there that's listening that's doing what they want, whether you're making furniture or painting pictures or singing songs, whatever the fuck you're doing, if that's what you really want to do, man, you're happy.
Yeah,
you got
even
lucky.
if it's just even if you're not making a fortune.
No, you listen, if you're getting by doing what you like, it's so much better than being rich doing what you hate. Because your time is what's so valuable when, if you have a job and you hate it, but it gives you a lot of money and you say, well, I'm going to get out of it eventually. The problem is that time that you need to do that job, that 8 hours, that's a giant chunk of your day.
But a lot of people don't have passions to what would they be doing those 8 hours a day.
Right.
A lot of people don't even know.
Right.
Like my dad gets off work and goes to work. He's not, what is he doing? It's
Right.
like, fuck, what do you want to get good at? What are you
Yeah.
passionate about? What do you want to do?
And it's easier for like this newer day and age to look on the internet and learn things on the internet, see people on the internet doing, be like, oh, they're doing it, I'm not doing it. In our parents' generation, they didn't have that. Everyone did it, and they had it was rare.
Right.
You're super lucky if you find a passion that you truly love,
God,
especially at a young age.
And back then, everybody was scared, right? So they would always tell people, don't do that. Don't take any risks. Play it safe. Get that good job.
Yeah.
You know, they're giving benefits. You know, get your degree. Play it safe. You know, well, if you have a degree, then you'll definitely have a backup plan. You know, you want to have a safety net. Everyone back then their parents had been in the fucking depression, man.
Even when I was growing up, people were kind of telling me, like, yo, you're going to fight? For like, what are you going to do for work? I'm like, that's what I'm going to do.
How many 50-year-olds do you know that, like, you want to see and be like, man, I want my life like theirs?
Yeah.
Like, someone like you or Paul Check, like, it seems like at your age, that's pretty rare.
People fall apart, man.
Doing what they want.
The ride it's, you know, everybody can, you know, if you watch one of those mechanical bulls, you watch when people, they start ramping it up. In the beginning, everybody can hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can hang on. But as the life gets more and more complicated, you get older and older, your body starts failing. You got to stay on your exercise program, or you feel yourself deteriorating. Like, you realize, like, how long can I keep this up? How long can I keep this going? You know? And also, people have been doing what they don't want to do for 20 years now, waiting to retire, 25 years.
Yep.
My number one, for sure, the most fortunate thing is the people that I'm friends with and that I love, my family and people I'm close to. I'm close to a bunch of really positive people.
That's
have number
similar
one.
mindsets to yours about eating healthy and taking care of yourself.
That, for sure, also about being nice. That's real important. Being around a bunch of people that are cool to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, doing what I want to do. If I didn't do what I want to do, and I don't want anybody to cry for me that I was on Fear Factor. It's not like it was a bad job. I would have taken it again in a heartbeat if I was in the same situation. It was great. You know, it offered me money, a lot of money, to do a show that wasn't anything I wanted to do. Like, it wasn't a sitcom. It wasn't doing stand-up comedy. It was this weird thing. But it was a great job. Like, I'm not hating on it. But it doesn't feel the same way. Even though I'm very thankful that I got that job, it doesn't feel the same way as it would if I was, say, doing a podcast or doing stand-up or just doing whatever I want to do. Where I don't have to do something just because it's my job.
Yeah.
Instead, I do it because I actually like to do it.
And you don't have
And
to
then I'm
watch your
focused
P's
on
and
it.
Q's all the time because you're in the corporate world. And
But you watch them yourself, man. I mean, I fuck up all the time. I say stupid things all the time. And people are like, why'd you say that? I'm like, because I'm free balling. I'm
No
saying
shit.
things off the top of my head for hours
You're
at a time.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Occasionally I'm going to say something stupid.
Yeah,
I
for
take a
sure.
swing and a miss.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But ultimately, it's, you know, I'm going to try to police myself as best as I can. But it's just so much better than having to appease somebody. It gives you a chance to get better at your own shit. You know, whatever you're doing, if you can work for yourself or figure out a way to do the thing that you really want to do, it gives you a chance to get better at the thing that interests you, the thing
Right.
that's fascinating to you.
yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I was super lucky when I first moved to Arizona. I didn't have to work. I had like local sponsors back in Montana.
What
Paying
kind of
for my
sponsors?
rent. The Sting Bar, the one I
Give
met
them a
Tim
shout
at.
out.
The Sting, Elias Smith and Jones.
Labs Construction, yeah. There's
I
a
don't know,
bunch that just
yeah,
support
yeah.
small town companies that
Dude,
support
I didn't have
us.
to work, and I was able to put all of my time into learning how to eat healthy, learning how to use my brain, and training. Like, I got to use all my time for that, and I was so lucky for that. And
And it's
no,
nice.
it's huge for young fighters, you know, getting a cool business and wants to put
Yep.
like their logo on your shorts or something like that.
That's where we benefited from coming from a small town. We racked up a lot of experience. Like in Phoenix, there's amateur fighters that they can't get fights for the life of them. We could fight every weekend if we wanted to. So we got a lot of ring experience and got comfortable in there.
Yeah, there's a crazy Midwest circuit, right? Like, that's why Jeremy Horn has over 100 fights, and Travis Fulton, what does he have, like 200 plus fights, something
Yeah.
crazy like that? But a
Yeah,
lot of those
it's-
dudes, you could literally fight constantly all the time.
Yep.
I fought 3 weekends in a row once. I remember that.
That's nuts. But don't you get super loose when you do that? You get, like, used
Hell
to
yeah.
it? The experience is
normal.
different, right? It feels normal.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I remember going into like bigger fights and people kind of saying, I was like, I don't think I will. I just don't get, like, before a fight, I don't feel nervous.
How do you feel?
I feel calm. I feel I'm just calm, just ready for. I'm just waiting for. I feel like I'm really in the now, and I'm just waiting to get there.
What are you thinking about?
I feel calm. I don't know.
Well, he's
I'm
usually-
super confident. I know, like, in my head, I'm going in there. I'm gonna knock this dude out. whether I do or don't. That's what every fight I get into, I'm going in there thinking I'm gonna knock this dude out every fight, and I truly feel that. I believe that in myself.
And it all comes from how prepared you are. He's always doing every single thing, not like, I'm gonna be lazy today. Everything he has to do, and that's the reason he feels so fucking prepared and can focus on our techniques and can focus on that instead of focus on, am I gonna gas, or did I train hard enough, or fuck all that nonsense shit.
Yeah, I was listening to someone talk about that the other day. That I wish I could remember who was having this conversation. It might have been my friend John Dudley, but he was talking about how when people aren't prepared for things, that it gives you like another layer of insecurity on top of the insecurity of doing something that's difficult in the first place. So if you know that you're not, like maybe you're good at it, but you're just lazy and you didn't really practice, and then you're going to go and try and do something, but you know these other people have practiced much harder than you have, that layer is, even if you're a talented person, that's like that has an effect on your actions. And if you've done everything you can do, you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's, if you've done that, you'll have a different level of confidence. You might still lose, right? It's a crazy way to make a living. The chips fall where they may, but at least you'll know that you gave 100%. Now, if you lose and you didn't give 100%, you definitely still you always have that in the back of your head as like a fallback. Hey, I know I didn't really give 100%, but you could say, well, I'm going to get my shit together now. But the problem is you've already gone through the experience of not giving 100%, which is very precarious because it could be a confidence destroyer. It could fuck your head up for the rest of your life. It could change who you are because it's very difficult for people to overcome the past. Like ideas that they have about themselves from a year ago or 5 years ago, that is not you. Seriously. And you have to, especially in something as critical as like fight skills and learning how to become confident again. That's not you. That was you then. You're better now. Embrace the fact that you're better. Don't dwell on bad moments where you got flattened or you fucked up or you did something stupid or you got caught in an armbar. Whatever the fuck it is. Those things, they can get in your head and you can decide you're that person, or you can decide, no, I've passed that now. I'm way better because of that. I'm thankful that happened because that taught me a super valuable lesson. And without that humiliation and that defeat or that misstep or, whatever that error was, I wouldn't know who I really am right now.
Yeah. It's like classic sports psychology stuff. And you can't just read it once and be like, okay, I get that. You got to fucking just rep it in your head. Rep it in your head. Yeah. And I truly think in a fist fight, the number one thing is confidence. And I know that confidence comes from training.
It also helps to have that fucking Rumble Johnson power, son. That might also be a number one. That Rumble Johnson can
or you
put
rely
the hurt
on it too much.
People.
You rely on it too much.
And that's
I don't
happens.
necessarily think he relied on it too much.
Not necessarily.
What I really think about Rumble is Rumble was better than he was enthusiastic about fighting. He was a better fighter. Like he said it. He was a phenomenal knockout artist. I mean, Rumble put it to people in a spooky way. He would crack. When he knocked out Glover Teixeira with that one uppercut, boom! You watch that precision and the power that guy generated. Damn, he was scary. But Rumble said when he retired, he said, hey, man, he goes, I'm just good at this. He goes, I'm not a fighter.
I remember
he goes,
that.
I'm an athlete. He goes, I'm just good at this. I don't want to do this anymore. I could do a lot of other things. I was like, good for you, man.
That's awesome.
You're fucking at the top of your game.
Fucked.
Everyone's scared of you. And you're like, man, I'm good at this. I don't even like it. Take it easy. I'm going into the weed business.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rumble is he's a special person. But that kind of thing that he's got that one-touch gift.
Yep.
I mean, for sure, technique, for sure, years of training, for sure, smart, knows how to execute and close the distance. There's a lot of excellent variables on his side. But there's one thing that he possesses that most human beings are never going to get no matter how they try. They're not going to get that power. He's got that weird power. There's a few people that just have that. They got that weird power,
like
man.
That fast twitch muscle that gasses out quick, or the slow twitch muscle like Nick Diaz that can push and press the whole time. It's like,
see, Rumble doesn't always
balance.
gas up quick though. Here's the thing: he did in some fights, but if you watch the Phil Davis fight, he never gassed out for a second in that fight. People forget, like, fucking Phil Davis is good. He's real good, and Rumble put it to him. Phil Davis was in survival mode in that fight.
I forgot about that.
Survival mode, son.
Phil
That guy
Davis
throws
was a D1
hammers.
champ.
Yeah,
man. He wasn't. There was no wrestling to be done in that fight. There was defense, back to the feet, keep ducking, because missiles are coming your way.
I wonder if he was with like Henry Hooft at that time, and
He
Henry
was.
Hooft helped him with that.
For certain. I mean, look, but I really believe that all those tough training camps and tough fights and, those battles, that after a while, he just didn't want to do it anymore. Even if he's that good at it. He wasn't comfortable, stressed out all the time, always getting ready for a fight. He didn't want to do it anymore. He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I think there's, something admirable about that, about him saying, even though he's on top of the heap, just lost the title, right?
Yep.
Decides, you know what, fuck it, I'm done.
Well,
Too
he got
tiring.
beat twice in a row, right?
By Cormier.
Maybe like you said, maybe he was
I
demoralized.
don't think twice in a row. He
won one.
Yeah,
Didn't
he
he?
won. Who did he beat in between? No, he beat a couple people. I think he beat Glover. He knocked out Glover in between.
That's right.
And then who else did he beat? He was fucking terrifying, dude.
He was.
I'm telling you, man.
But then he tried to make 170.
He did make 170 many times. He
Dude.
used to fight at 170. He fought on Tough at 170.
At that high level, too, when there's so much on the line, you get to fight 10 weeks out. Okay, now every single day, my thoughts are filled with what's going to happen in that fight for 10 fucking weeks, and it's exhausting knowing that I might make this much money or I might make double
Twice
that
as
much.
much.
You
I'm
can't
a-
plan ahead at all. You got to
Yeah.
go based on what happened in the fight.
I'm not a big believer in that. I don't like that. That's one part of the way people get paid that I wish wasn't a tradition.
Seriously.
The fight and then the win bonus. I just feel like everybody's trying to win.
And then the
Like you
decisions.
can't, if it was one thing, like if it was a rock solid decision process where we did it all in a computer and everyone agreed and everyone voted online,
Yeah.
then okay, because it might cost you $50,000 if someone has a terrible idea of whether or not you want to fight or not. And sometimes they're close, and sometimes they're subjective, and sometimes there's things that you might be looking for that you might think isn't good enough to score. Or maybe you think the defense is just as important because even though he took him down, he didn't do anything, and the guy on the bottom was always working off of his back.
Yeah. Or you're a boxer, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And look, there's always those things, but I think those could be ironed out with a large enough sample group or a large enough group of
Hell
judges.
yeah.
Like if we had, why do we
Educated
need
judges,
Why do
by
we
the
need
way.
three? Why do we need three? Tell me, there's not thousands of people listening to this right now that would make phenomenal judges.
Shit,
that know MMA, that understand jiu-jitsu, that know kickboxing all together. I mean, there's got to be a fucking shit ton of them out there that would do an amazing job if you let them do it online. Let them watch it online. Let them
yeah.
judge it online. Have a little camera on them while they do it so you know they're actually watching the fight. Let them watch it. Don't just no commentary. Just let the sounds, the impacts. How about let's get a bunch of people watching this shit?
So what would it take to like push an idea like that? It's like,
We're just used to Joe Lewis versus Max Schmeling. The judge in the corner over
yeah.
here is Judge Wapley, and Judge Judy's over here. And we're used to this stupid old boxing system. That system sucks a fat dick.
Seriously.
They need to have a gang of people judging fights. There should be way more than three, and they should be super educated in terms of like high-level understanding of submission holds, striking. They should be able to demonstrate it. What's more significant, an elbow to the top of the head or a leg kick? Depends on who's throwing the kick. Depends on who's
Right,
throwing the
yeah.
elbow. What's better, a takedown or a takedown that leads you to get caught in a triangle that you eventually survive in, but you almost get tapped in?
You
What, if
go
you
on
get
and
out,
on.
did it not count? Like, what if a guy gets you really close to a triangle and he's got you trapped in there? You try to slam him, he tightens it up more. There's a battle, and you're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and finally you get out. Do you get more credit because you took him down than he gets for almost strangling you?
Seriously.
That's super subjective. Super subjective, and different people will disagree. They will argue over it. I've seen really high-level referees and judges argue over what they think is more important and better. It's so subjective.
Damn.
that's crazy. It's
But I
tough.
think if
fighting
we had a
style.
giant number, man, if we had a big number, if you have 100 people, I'm getting crazy.
It's the
20
best
people,
idea I've
20,
heard.
I know.
20
I
experts.
100% agree.
Just have a certified expert panel, and you have these people. You give them access to the fight for free. You pay them a certain amount of money. They get no commentary. They listen to the fight play out in real time. They have the options of tuning into each corner or individual corners if they want. That's easy to arrange. We have that right now. So if we decided to do that and give that to someone who calls it home, who wants to not just watch fights, but is also an expert and would love the idea of making $100 or whatever the fuck they pay you. Have this camera propped over their head. Have online contributors.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, and maybe, maybe have fucking 10 people do it. Maybe have 20 people do it. But it doesn't, in this day and age, like, why would you not have more analysis?
Have something better than those 3 judges.
It's just not a good idea. To three unskilled people that their only experience is watching fights and judging them. Like, literally, they don't have any martial arts experience. That's a common theme.
Yeah.
Like, we're high-level MMA fights are often the decisions are decided by people that have zero martial arts experience, which is crazy.
Oh, my God.
It's like me judging a violin contest. It really is. Like, I don't know a goddamn thing about. I could get it totally wrong. The people, I would go, oh, I love the part we did that. Like, that was a mistake, you fucking idiot.
Yeah,
he's not supposed to make that sound. That's why he should lose. I'm like, oh, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
That's how it is when a lot of these people just literally don't have any idea what's happening. I have a friend who is a judge who told me while a fight was going on, this was many years ago, while a fight was going on, this guy's working for a Kimura, and this lady who's a judge goes, what is he doing? What is he doing? She says it to him because she needs to know. Because she's watching the fight. She doesn't know if that's a hold. Like, what is that? Is this work? Is this real? And she's actually judging a fight. And he said, I was flabbergasted.
Fuck.
He goes, she literally didn't understand what was happening. She didn't know a Kimura. Like, super common move. She didn't know it.
That's crazy. Did you listen to the commentary at all in Sugar's fight?
I don't think so.
Oh, fuck.
Which fight?
Andre, where he was whining about me saying stuff.
Oh, in between corners?
No, it was during the fight. I was just jabbering at Andre a little bit, just because I knew that big pressure moment, he was feeling that
People
moment.
hated that.
Oh,
So I was
hated
just laughing when he missed, or just little things that make fun of him a little bit, because I know he was thinking about it, and I know that.
Do you know him well?
No, but I could see the pressure, the buildup of him all week. He was getting super emotional, so I knew that little extra push would get him emotional.
Teamwork.
And then after he tweeted, he's like, all I could hear is his fucking corner talking shit to me the whole time, and that's all I could, like.
That's part
Wow.
of the game.
I'm like, I know at the high level it's not going to work, but I just feel it's another tactic.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe it will. Like, who would it work on?
Well, just think, like, these guys
don't know.
are UFC fighters in their town. Everyone respects them and treats them nice. And then all of a sudden, you're in a place where 2 guys are talking shit to you, and then you're fighting one, and he's laughing at you and this, and they're like, oh, fuck, I'm not used to this. It's just another tactic, but I know at a certain level it won't work, but why not?
Yeah,
It's all fun and games.
certain level it might work a little though.
It's just another
Yeah.
part of the game.
Yeah.
And I want people,
is,
I
right?
want people fucking trying to hit Sugar hard so they're stiff, so he's waxing them as they come in.
Well, definitely don't talk about it on the internet if you want it to happen.
It'll happen.
Dude, it'll still happen.
Too fast.
It'll still happen.
I'm sure. I'm just saying. You're giving up your strategy, son.
Believe
It's
in it,
alright.
though. I trust it.
I believe you believe in it. You're definitely a fast learner, man. It's interesting how you have a style of moving and throwing kicks that I would have assumed that you had like a long background in some sort of traditional martial art, like karate or taekwondo or something. Because the way you're throwing kicks, I was like, this guy, like the way. But I guess that's like a lot of also your emulation of Conor, right?
Yeah,
That
I was.
style.
Yeah, I was kind of doing that before I saw Connor. Just kind of throwing weird kicks. I remember being at the lab and watching videos and trying them, just teaching myself them. But as far as my movement, that I played basketball, football, soccer, and baseball my entire life since I was 4 until I was in high school. I think I became super athletic from doing so many different sports, and then I added that to fighting, and I don't know. It works well.
Well, your length too, man. That's a big factor.
That's like a 6'4" guy at 170 that switches
It's crazy.
stances.
How
like,
tall are you?
fuck.
5'10", 5'11".
5'11", 5'10" for 135 is so crazy.
Yeah. There's some
What is
dudes
your
that
walk
are-
around?
Weight?
Yeah.
150.
Put out
150?
your arms real quick. Look
Like,
how
I-
fucking long his stretch is for
That's
30
crazy.
for 35. Like,
How hard is it for you to get down to 35?
Super easy.
Super easy.
Yeah.
What do you think about this recent move? Dana White has just said that he's going to eliminate the early weight cuts.
Is that real? I
Are
hope
you
that's not true.
serious?
That would be the worst
No
thing.
way.
That's so stupid.
He said too many people are missing the weight and they're trying to game the system and they're trying to cut more because they know they have more time to recover.
That sucks. I love the night. It's easy. It's like you fucking still know what time weigh-ins are.
Do you think it's possible that they could ever eliminate weight cutting entirely?
I hope so. I would love that. I would love that. I don't know. I just
find out what your actual weight is and fight at that. I mean, if you're too muscular, lose some weight. If you're too fat, lose some fat. But find out what weight you're at and just. I think it's an unnecessary danger.
For real.
That's the nice thing about Sean. He's not a huge 135er, so we don't have to eat to get huge, like George said, or eat to really diet down. We can eat to where he just performs the best and just stay there, and then maybe have to cut 8 pounds, eat normal the whole week, drink normal the whole week, and then go in there feeling 100%.
Yeah, it's an unnecessary aspect, and I think one of the things that would be a solution is give guys more options of what weight to actually fight at. When there's these big giant gaps in between weight classes, it forces people in a lot of ways to cut weight because like maybe they're too small for 185, but they can make 170. So fuck it, I'll just make 170 because I know how big X guy is or Y guy is. Because some of those 85ers, man, you're around them, you're like, holy shit, this is a fucking heavyweight.
Chael.
Jesus, he's a big fella. Fuck. There's a lot of them. Luke Rockhold is a big fella. He's big.
He looks big.
Yeah, he's big and strong as fuck. And, he weighs 185. So if you're in that guy's weight class, like, good luck, fuckface.
Seriously.
How about Yoel Romero? Yoel Romero is 185. Are you fucking kidding me?
No shit,
dude. He's one of the most impressive physical specimens I've ever been in front of. I mean, phenomenal wrestler, talented fighter, all the above, but just his physique. Like, he just looks like a superhero. He doesn't look like a real person. Have you been around him in real life?
Flex your traps. You look like Yoel a little bit.
Fucking Yoel.
Dude, he was here in that shirt, in that seat, and he was wearing this tight shirt with like a gold cross and shit. And, it's skin tight. And you look at him, you're like, what? And in between fights, he's not trying to make 185. He's well over 200 pounds. Fuck. He's fucking jacked. Jesus. He's got that super Cuban DNA, son.
Seriously.
I wonder what DC is going to weigh going in the fight with Stipe.
Look at
curious.
him.
Holy shit.
Jacked. Jacked. Yoel Romero's jacked.
Shit, dude.
Could not be a nicer guy.
Really?
Could not
be
nice. A nicer guy.
That's cool.
He's beautiful. I
like that. I love you, Michael.
Funny and friendly.
That's
and
cool.
He's a sweet, sweet guy. He's laughing all the time. He's so happy to not be in Cuba. And when he talks to you about Cuba, like he's explaining, like he can go back to Cuba. He's one of the few guys that can go back to Cuba and then leave and come back to the United States.
Damn.
Yeah, it says it's crazy. He says you got to keep your mouth shut and move around and, watch what you say and don't piss anybody off because they all want to leave and they can't leave. And you can leave and come back and leave and come back. Crazy.
It's weird. Like, usually someone who's super fucking badass, they're always really nice.
Yeah.
He's so nice. Soldier of God. Is that his T-shirt?
Yeah, they put I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
He put that up? That's the Reebok shirt?
It's his shirt, yeah.
Oh,
That's gotta be a joke.
No, it's real.
Oh, shit.
We need an account and
it's
order me that. Order me that.
That's
I'll take that in the large,
awesome.
please.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Reebok's
awesome,
finally come
man.
out with some good
That's a
shirts.
dope one. Yeah, they're coming out with funny shit, This is yours, right?
Yeah. They sold out first couple hours on the Reebok on a couple different websites.
Dude.
They just got it back in stock at
Come on,
the
son.
Reebok.
Come on,
It
son.
was beautiful. They had a marijuana leaf behind it at first, and it was so sweet.
They had to get rid of the marijuana
Yeah,
leaf. They
but it's
panicked.
still
Come on.
That's it.
That's what I was saying.
Imagine.
They need to let it go. In this day and age, let it go.
It was a
Let
risk
it
they
go.
weren't willing.
Think how many
But it-
people told you do
dope
not
shirt.
promote marijuana at
Oh,
all.
yeah,
The
like my
UFC
whole-
will not ever
Yeah.
sign you. Won't
Whoever
pick
said,
you
well,
up.
back then maybe, but not anymore.
Like a couple years ago.
Sean's like
Really?
the first
Who
to
told you
be
that?
open about it.
Is that true, Nick Diaz? Come on, son.
I guess that's true.
Nick Diaz has always been open
people
about
back
it.
home.
Fuck yeah, that's true.
He's open as fuck.
You're right.
A lot of people are open about weed. It's more behind the scenes. Dana doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
The only thing that they care about is
Pass the
commissions
test.
and people, failing the test, which they
Yep.
think is stupid in the first place. Dana doesn't give a fuck if people smoke weed. He'd rather have them smoke weed, I'm sure, especially now that it's legal,
Yeah.
than drink.
But 10
you know?
years ago, what was he like? 5 years
Well,
ago?
it's all about the commissions. He's a
Yeah.
promoter. He's not a guy who interferes with people's personal pot smoking
Yeah.
because he doesn't like it's immoral in my company. We're gonna
Yeah.
no, it's none of that. His opinion is based entirely on the fact you're gonna get tested. So if you're smoking pot, you can't stop, and you're 6 weeks out, and you know you fucking passed that limit, because they used to be looking for a very small amount, and you'd need a good solid 4 to 6 weeks to flush your system. And some guys they push it, they get into 3 weeks and just drink a lot of fucking water and apple cider vinegar and try to clean their system out. And sometimes it would work, and sometimes you would deal with a really sophisticated commission, and they would catch you.
Pat Healy, Jim Miller, when Pat won both bonuses that night, 130
That's right.
G's.
That's right.
Tested positive for pot, got 100K.
They took his bonus away.
And the win, and his win bonus.
Yep, and his win. I mean, look, do you think the pot helped him win? Get the fuck out of here.
No shit.
It's crazy.
And it was just a little amount.
Poor Pat.
He pushed it, you know? I mean, and Pat is a guy that fights like a fucking savage. So, you know, he trains like that too. So it's all just fucking grinding and smashing.
Yep.
And so he's probably sore all the time, man.
Yeah.
You know, if you fight that fucking wrestler, the top game, smash him up style like he does,
Yep.
and that grit style, he's got that put it to you, just keep that pressure on you till you
Yep.
break style. Those guys get sore as fuck, man. They
Hell
need some
yeah.
pot. Calm them down.
Yeah,
No
for sure.
shit.
We're going to
For
look
sure.
back on it someday, and it's going to be ridiculous. We're going to look back on the fact that pot was illegal when we were kids.
Soon.
We're going to be like,
Hopefully.
how in the fuck is that possible?
Some people will take it to their
Seriously.
graves, though. Weed's the devil.
Oh, my mom.
They just, yeah,
Sorry,
they
mom.
just don't get it. It's not their fault. Here's the thing: weed's the devil for some people, but alcohol's the devil for some people.
true.
You know, gambling's the devil for some people.
Yeah.
Jerking off is the devil for some people.
Yep.
There's people that get caught up in all kinds of shit because people are fucked up. We're weird, you know. But it's not the pot. Pot's not the problem. You're throwing out
shit.
the baby with the bathwater. This shit is good for people. It helps you.
Yeah.
It makes you think more. It opens your eyes to weird things. It makes you nicer to people.
Yeah.
It really does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
Makes
If I
you
could just get my mom to take one puff.
just a little puff, just a little baby.
I won't do it.
What about edibles?
No,
No
shit.
way.
I
You
love
got to get
edibles.
around
You like
Joey
edibles?
Diaz. Yes.
Like
around
when I'm
Joey
in camp,
Diaz.
when I'm in camp 6, 7, 8 weeks out, I pretty much I've only vaporized and used edibles. And then once I start getting to that 3, 4 weeks, I'm only do edibles.
Dude, I gotta get you something. I don't have it right here. We don't have any Jambos here. I gotta get you this Jambo spray. It's gonna change your life, son.
It's a spray.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, but be careful.
I have this liquid, this THC liquid you pour under your tongue.
Ooh,
That's
I ain't
you gotta
going
be
too-
careful.
That's like acid. I ain't going too far.
Seriously.
People with those dabbers, all those wacky people with the wax.
That's too heavy
you can-
for me.
You can go fuck yourself, folks.
yeah.
You're going too far. they're out,
Shit.
they're out in the land of no. That's like the marijuana equivalent of those people that take that crocodile drug. You know,
Oh,
you know those people that take that shit that rots your. You never seen that stuff?
Crocodile?
Crocodile was some drug that was affecting a lot of people. Apparently in was it Eastern Bloc states or some? It was Russia. I think it was Russia, but it rots your skin away to the point where your bone's exposed. So these people would shoot it right into the spot where their bone was exposed. Like that's how crazy this drug is. It's so powerful and so crazy and feels so good. They shoot it right into the rotten meat
What?
with their exposed bone. Oh, there's photos, man, all over the internet. It'll freak you out.
It says it was in Colombia.
Colombia, that's where it is.
This one article.
Okay.
was in South
Is there one from Russia?
I don't.
I feel like there was a theme about Russian kids that were shooting crocodile in this burnt out warehouse. It was
on the
like,
photos.
what in the fuck?
Damn.
Fuck.
Dude, it's hard. Pull up some photos, son. Don't
God.
gross us out from a distance.
Oh,
Look at that. That's real.
Fuck.
So that lady's shooting that stuff into her arm. The meat rotted away.
does not
her
feel it, or
bone
what
is
the
exposed. She can't help it, man. That
Dude,
stuff just
no
starts.
way.
It starts rotting their flesh away. And a lot of people wind up like this, man. Look at this lady. Look at her arm. Look at her forearm.
Crocodile?
Yeah, look at it. Ate away her forearm, man. There's almost nothing left of her forearm. This is a really common thing that you could find online if you want to throw up. Look at that guy's foot.
Is
His
it
foot's
still
rotting
like
away.
spreading or what?
I don't know, man. I'm too scared to ask.
I don't even.
Look at that one hand.
How
Click on that
can
hand
you
where your
so
cursor's on.
stupid?
Click on that. Oh, Jesus. Look at this. Look at this person squirting it into their leg.
Poor. God.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, it's eating that person's ass. All
I'm
right,
not
that's
showing
enough.
these online.
That's enough. Yeah, thank you for not showing these online.
Dude, that's
People just get
nuts.
so fucking damaged.
Well, what is that
damaged.
drug that makes it like? Imagine an itch that's so hard to not scratch that you're willing to shoot the drugs
Jesus.
into the hole where the bone is.
Fuck.
People
I'll
are
stick
fucked
to
up,
weed.
man. People are fucked up.
And a lot of it's weird. Like they were saying in this podcast, from 0 to 3, you learn more than you'll ever learn in your whole life. And we don't even remember that. Like,
When people say that, I go, maybe you, bro.
really?
Our thought pattern. Yeah.
Like,
10 times stronger than heroin. 3 times as more toxic.
Jesus.
And it's a tenth of the price.
Oh, that's the problem.
That's
It's
the
a
problem
bargain.
right
It's
there.
Costco. It's
Ooh.
Costco
Costco.
drug. So were we saying that you learn more by the time you're 3?
from 0 to 3 than you'll ever learn in your life. Taking in more information about like
Just life.
everything.
Huh.
Just being programmed from that, like, and we don't even remember that, and that forms maybe a lot of patterns that are in our brains now. Like,
Oh,
and
for
we
sure.
have no idea.
Oh, for sure. Especially if kids grow up around violence in the house, violence in their community. Especially even if their mom was going through violence, whether in the womb, that has a giant factor in the way you connect the dots and the way you interact with people. I was on a plane once, headed to
Jeez.
Australia, and Michael Irvin was on the plane, just by random. It's long-ass flights, like 14 hours. So me and him got to talking. Super good dude, like real nice guy. I mean, phenomenal football player, but just like you would never know it talking to him. Just super, super down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
But he was talking about work he does with kids, that and trying to sort of illuminate to people what happens to someone who grows up in a terrible community where they experience a lot of violence in the neighborhood, or their family experiences violence, or the mother does while the boy's in the womb. That this programs literally their behavior patterns.
Thought pattern.
Yeah, and they come out of the gate with a faster fuse, a shorter fuse, a more inclinations towards violence. Different hormone rates. Their body reacts to stress differently. They're quicker to snap. They're quicker to make impulsive, violent judgments and beat people up and shit. Like a lot of the people that are in these situations, like what you're dealing with is like a programming from the time they're in the womb, and it's very difficult to correct. Man. And then we have to like really not think about it in terms of like, here's a person who's doing a bad thing, and think about it more in terms of like, well, wait a minute, why is he so angry? How did he get like this? What happened?
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna let it happen over and over again and keep blaming people who get it wrong and say, hey, everybody figure it out because we're gonna keep locking you up? Or should they look at it and go, how is this happening?
Yeah.
Like, what is causing people? Hey, look, Mike grew up on the south side of Chicago. Everyone in his neighborhood was getting beat up and shot, and if someone says something to him, he can't even help it. He just sucker punches you because he's on edge all the fucking time. Are we supposed to treat him the same way we're going to treat Chad, who grows up in the country club and wears Izod shirts, and his parents were both on Xanax and everybody's cool and the maid raised him? I'm like, we're going to treat
No
them.
shit.
I mean, they're not the same people. These are not the same kind of human beings. Like, some human beings, they got a shitty deal. They got a shit deal, man. They should get a shit deal coming into this planet. We got to figure out how to stop those shit deals from taking place so often. Figure out a way to like make it nicer for people. Like, the worst problems are people that come out of horrible situations in their life when they're young and then go on to do violence and terrible things when they get older.
Yeah.
If you could just get to them
That
early,
Fuck.
and everybody calm down, everybody relax. Like, let's figure out a way to get you all paths to success and get you to figure out like coaching and life coaching and education and counseling and community, and you're wanted and loved and everyone's together, and you have a stake in this game just as much as everybody else.
Yeah.
And then have this with kids when they're young. You'll develop phenomenal human beings instead of people that are likely to grow up and engage in the kind of patterns that they saw all their life.
Yeah, I think like a big thing, like going our school system, like we're not taught how to use our brains. We're not taught how to deal with certain emotions when they arise. We're just taught, math, science, all that stuff. I think the school system, we need to implement more teaching us how to meditate, how to control our thoughts,
For sure.
our emotions.
And just like Rhonda Patrick says, like what the mom's eating has so much to do with how that baby's formed and how healthy it's formed.
For
and
sure.
It's like,
For
holy
sure.
smokes, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many factors. And then, there's things that you're just never going to be able to control, like where you're born, like who your parents are, What part of the world do you live on? I mean, we're all lucky as shit, even the poorest of us, to be here in America, where you could be in a shit neighborhood and manage to get out and become at least a financial success.
Yeah.
There's places where that's just not possible, you know?
Literally.
How lucky are we that we're not living in fucking Singapore, where they could just pull you over and just lock you in a cage for a year because you like to smoke plants?
Yeah, no
That's
shit.
insane.
It's fucking insane.
No shit.
Yeah, we're all insanely lucky.
I bet it's pretty crazy being a dad.
It's crazy.
I bet.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's hard to wrap your head around it until you experience it.
I bet, dude.
It is very, very rewarding, but it's also very strange, very humbling. Changes your whole perspective on things. You love these little people in a way that you didn't even know you could love. You just feel different. You feel different about people. I look at people now, men, women, everybody. I look at them like they used to be a baby. That started to happen almost immediately after I had a kid. Like, I never used to think about it that way. If I saw some dude and he was fucking like 70 years old and yelling at people, fuck you, get off my lawn, or whatever, you know, I'd be like, look at that old
Fuck you,
dickhead.
I'll beat your ass.
I just would think he's an old dickhead.
Yeah.
Fuck that old dickhead. But now I go, oh, that was a baby.
Man.
That was a baby that just went through life and then got to the point where it's this old man who just, you know, like, everybody could ride that fucking mechanical bull for a second or two.
Until
If
he
you're
starts bucking.
70 years old and you're like, get off my lawn. And you
Just
just
fuck.
can't wait to go back inside and drink yourself to death and you're watching Judge Judy, you know? What? There's a lot of people like that. Those people that are out there just in a room where the fucking walls are yellow with cigarettes, just constantly smoking. They got a greasy film on all the windows.
Throwing in Tony's.
Yeah, they're just ordering pizza and their fucking whole house smells like shit. Those people are alive right now and they were babies. And now they're 80. Now they're 80 years old, coughing. They got a tube in their neck. Maybe they got a fucking oxygen tank they take with them, the little tube that goes up their nose.
And how were they raised? Who were they raised around?
Man. Yeah. How were they raised? Did they get a good deal?
What they eat.
Yeah, did they get a good deal?
Did they get a good
Fuck.
deal? Were they around nice people when they were young? Or did people smack them for no reason when they were a little baby? Did people drop them on their head? What happened to them? You know, what kind of education did they get? What kind of nutrition did they get growing up? How well did their brain develop?
God.
You know?
It really
Feel
does
like
make you want to just treat everyone nice.
Dude, it could be us. That's the thing. You could be born in a terrible community in, you know, fill the blank, Russia. You could have been born there. You could have been born in some nightmare, crime-infested part of Liberia. You could have been born there. Could have been you. You could be in Libya right now. You could be a little child born in Libya right now. You have no control of your environment. And there is basically a failed state where they're reintroducing slavery, open markets. You can watch people. There's slave trade auctions
serious?
on YouTube. You could see them in Libya.
Holy shit.
Have you seen it, right, Jamie?
Holy.
Terrifying. So Francis Ngannou spoke out about it after he knocked out Alistair Overeem. It's one of the things that he wanted to talk about when he knew he was going to be fighting for the title. He basically, you know, he's not the best at English. He's still learning it, but he was like, you know, I just want to say fuck slavery. Like this is crazy that this is happening today in 2018. They have slavery in Libya. But people had cell phone camera footage of the slave auctions going on.
Damn, dude.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, that could be us.
Yeah.
We could be born there. You know, we got lucky. Everyone got lucky, and some got luckier than others. But the lack of just not just an understanding of that, but the action. Like the fact that we always think we have to do all these different things in other countries. Oh, we have to go over there and help these people out with their trade. Oh, we have to go over here and there's a steel embargo. We need to talk to these people. Yeah. We definitely do. But you know what we really need to do? We need to fix up these fucking poor cities. Fix this up. You got horrible poverty. You got places where you have block after block with boarded up windows, and you know this exists, right?
Some of the reservations.
Oh, dude.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That's a different world there.
It's a different world.
Is.
It really is. Yeah. But it's like that's never something that's discussed when people talk about the problems that this country faces. They roughly, you know, economic crisis, and they use words like, you know, welfare inequality or, you know, income inequality. They use these terms. But at the end of the day, we don't think about, no, it's just like people that are fucked. They're fucked. Like their situation is fucked. It's not good. And they don't get the same break as someone who lives in a nice neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio. They're not getting the same break. It's a different situation. And until you fix that, you're going to make criminals and angry people and people that are dysfunctional and people that are, they're lashing out because they experience violence and no love their entire life. You're going to always get that, man. And this is what I was talking about earlier, that our technology is constantly and rapidly accelerating. But our understanding of our interactions with each other is still fucked up. It's still clunky and not well thought through. And as much as we know about so many different factors in terms of like how human beings develop, we put almost no effort into fixing it.
Well, what would help?
They would have to go on an all-out campaign to reinvigorate horrible neighborhoods. They would have to use government money to fix these houses and fix these neighborhoods and make it safer with more police force, make community centers where people can go and be safe, set it up so they can do activities there that they would like. There's got to be ways that you can invigorate these places and you somehow or another figure out a way to get work for a lot of these people. Give them counseling. Let people know that have never really been to school and they're in their fucking 20s. There's a place we can go. We can teach you how to write and read. This is real. There's a lot of people that are like this in the real world. We can fix things if we put money and time into them. Like the way they decided, like they were using Halliburton to go and rebuild places that we blew up in Iraq. Like that's what they do. They go and refix stuff that they build shit that we fuck up. They go over and then they put power plants and do all kinds of other shit over there. But they get these giant contracts to go over there and do that. Okay. Well, we definitely blew things up, so we should definitely fix it. But shouldn't we fix Chicago too?
Fuck.
Well, you got gang violence constantly in Chicago. I mean, the death rate in Chicago is crazy, right? Or Detroit, or fill in the blank, whatever bad neighborhood is experiencing some sort of a drug conflict.
Reservations.
Yeah, and then how about the fact collectively we all need to look at the fact that Mexico's right next to us, and the only reason why they have such violent crimes because we like drugs and we keep those drugs illegal, so bad guys sell drugs. Like it's the fucking stupidest shit ever.
Damn.
It's like you know it. Everybody knows it. I'm not a smart guy. Like if I know it, I'm no genius. If I know the solution, you don't think the people in the highest levels of government know the solution?
But dude, you're a lot smarter than you think, because think of the people you talk to every day. Dude, these deep conversations.
That's
like you got
true.
a lot of knowledge that people have never.
Yeah, but see, there's a difference between knowledge that you just sort of remember things that people have told you, which I got some of that, and actually having an education in it. That's the difference. Like if people ask me about martial arts, like I can understand almost everything you want to talk about with martial arts, with the exception of some judo and some wrestling. Some judo and some wrestling, I would want to talk to an expert and want to make sure that I got my positions and my understanding of what is the best thing to do. But everything else, I'm just an expert in.
Michael Pollan said, though, how long on sleep? How long do doctors get? Like, how long is their courses on sleep?
Oh, yeah.
One course?
How long? Exactly.
So do you listen to them or do you listen to your podcast?
Yeah, but I don't listen to them when it comes to sleep. I listen to a guy like Matthew Walker, who's a sleep expert.
Yeah.
There are
Matthew
those.
Walker,
he's a real sleep expert. So he's the guy that I should listen to. But just because I can parrot what he says, don't get confused. Like I'm not smart. I just remember shit.
But God, in a way, that's smart.
Dude, if you could see how my fucking brain actually functions, like how I write material and why I need to constantly keep moving, you'd be like, oh, you're just crazy. You're not smart. You're just a crazy nice person.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's
what it is.
Open-minded, too.
Definitely open-minded. I think I need to be, and I think we all need to be. And I think it's one of our main problems as people, and I've been absolutely guilty of this in the past, is that we cling to an idea as if it's our identity. Like if it defines us, instead of looking like, am I right? I might not be right. Like there's a lot of power in saying, damn, I'm wrong. There's a lot of power in that. There really is. And we need to recognize that. We need to recognize like there's power in saying you're sorry. There's power in like, dude, I definitely fucked up. I was in the wrong 100%. I don't know what I did. I'm sorry. There's power in that. There's power. I feel bad about it. There's power in saying, I thought this was correct and it wasn't. I really feel stupid. Sorry I argued that so hard. I really thought I was right. I'm a fucking idiot. You got to be willing to do that. If people were less willing to do that, it's like there's some people, they say something and they stick with it and then they'll fucking die on that hill.
Yep.
Right? Like this is why it was so weird that Donald Trump was trying to say that the Eagles never stood for the Super Bowl, that they were kneeling, and that enough of them didn't want to come, so I'm canceling this party. Like
Uninvited them.
yeah, it's
Somebody
crazy.
invited them.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and that's why it's crazy. It's crazy because of the way we really, in our heart of hearts, understand how people are capable of communicating with each other.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're capable of being way better than this. We're just clumsy. We're just stumbling into each other and headbutting each other and shit like a mosh pit.
Their egos are just fighting each other.
There's a lot of that, man. It's a lot of everybody, including me. I've done it too. Everybody wanting their side to be right.
Oh yeah.
Just get so stupid with it.
That's why it's hard to like wander out of your group of friends.
Fuck yeah.
You go like, fuck.
Yeah.
Try to trust people, right? Try
Yeah.
to find people that aren't like secretly hoping you fail.
Yeah.
There's
Oh.
a lot of that.
Those people are exhausted.
Similar mindsets, constantly sharing
Yeah.
different articles you find, and I don't know, it's pretty lucky.
And being honest about what you know. Don't pretend you know more than you know.
Yeah.
Gotta be aware of what you know.
Like someone like you, like I could listen to an expert nutritionist. He's kind of overweight, doesn't look good. Or someone like you who's not an expert nutritionist, but look at your body. You have a lot of fucking knowledge that you learned.
Yeah, but definitely don't listen to me. Only listen to if I can parrot somebody else's shit or tell you to go listen to their shit. Because I get things wrong. I'm not educated in the mechanisms of nutrient absorption. So there's like things that if you take it with certain things, it's not good for you. Nutritionists will know all that stuff. I'm not the person who knows. I know some things, like don't have saturated fat with refined carbohydrates and sugar. It's not a good combination, especially if you have certain genes. I know a bunch of shit. I know what you're supposed to eat and not supposed to eat. But
some nutritionists, though, even some like at the UFC PI, they'll be like, well, not this one, but a certain nutritionist went to school for it, got all their degrees, and they're like, yeah, you can have mac and cheese for lunch, and then we'll have like some Vans waffles to get you started. It's like,
oh, well, they must have got some 1990s education,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. Like, how
Yeah.
much are those 1990s educations?
If they don't keep up, man, it can
Yeah.
be bad, right? Like those food chains from the fucking 80s and those Dr. Seuss books. You ever see that shit? It was all like cereal and rice and grain at the bottom. Better have a lot of that. And then after that, it was like meat and there was eggs, and it was a goofy ass food chain, man.
Yeah, damn.
That's what people thought. The food pyramid, the bottom of it should be grains and breads, which are fine as long as you don't have too much of it.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be a moderation thing.
Depending on your goals, right? Like,
Yeah, but the thing about the nutrition world, the real thing is it is so complex and it's so involved that you really need to talk to an actual expert. Like if I have issues, I have questions about things, my number one go-to is Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Yeah.
Number one. 'Cause she's 100% scientific with
Awesome.
all of her. There's no shenanigans. When she has an idea about something, it's based on studies. She can cite those studies to you literally at the drop of a hat, and she'll tell you what's going on. Like why is this good with that, and why does this help that, and why does this hurt that? Like she's the go-to person for me.
it's so
she's
sweet.
a wizard. She's so fucking smart. So. Like I could ask someone like that, but I'm absolutely not a nutrition expert. I know what I've been able to do that works pretty good for me, and I've got some loosely fucking duct taped together knowledge. But the real people out there, like Rhonda Patrick or Rob Wolf or Chris Kresher or Ben Greenfield, like I had Ben in here a couple weeks ago. Dude, he's a wizard.
you listen to that 3 times. What are you're probably a purple or brown belt in nutrition then?
No, I think I'm a blue belt.
No
I think
way,
No.
dude. Look at you.
I'm being honest. I'm
You're
being honest.
50 years old and
Yeah.
jacked, dude.
Yeah, but I'm just crazy. I told you I'm a crazy person. I work out a lot. I take TRT.
Yeah, that's
All those things help.
Yeah.
But the real experts, man, their knowledge is constantly growing. This is the thing about Rhonda that's so fantastic is she's on top of all of these peer-reviewed papers and new studies and all these things that are going on and things that are in the process of going on. 'Cause she's in this loop of clinical. She's a clinical researcher, so she's in this loop of all these wizards, and she does her own podcast. So she's constantly up on everything that's going on. So
Dude.
she'll send you things about new data, and she's always like, every time I have her in here, it's 3 hours where I might talk like 5 times. Like I might go, so why does that do that? That's a good question. So blah, 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 blah. And she's not even looking at notes, man. Like she's
Sweet.
And we get to learn from it at
Yeah,
a young
we get to
age and
listen to
apply it, dude. Like, so who's to say we're not fighting healthily at 40 if we monitor injuries and monitor our sparring and all that? Like,
well, the thing is going to be brain health. Or that's the real problem. The real, like, Kat Zingano was here. Did you guys see that or listen to
we
that
didn't
one?
get to see that one yet.
She had a significant brain injury apparently from Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes throws some boulders,
She
son.
does.
Fuck yeah.
Boulders.
She
Big
does.
long boulders. She hurts people. She's a fucking killer.
Badass.
And she was concussed so badly in that fight that it fucked up her hormone levels. She became hypothyroid from that fight and continues to be so to this day. She gained 25 pounds, she said. Or 20, 25 pounds, somewhere in the neighborhood. Somewhere between 20 and 25 pounds. Could not shake it off. She goes, I was eating like 400 calories a day. My body would not let go of this weight. And then she found out she was hyperthyroid.
Damn.
And she had all sorts of problems with her cognition, with her memory, with her she couldn't see when she was sparring. She wasn't seeing things anymore. She wasn't seeing reads. You know, she wasn't like if she fainted someone, she couldn't see their reaction. She was just charging at them full blast. She's like, I had no sense of what I was doing. So she started getting this crazy magnetic therapy. They do
I've
this
seen
thing.
that on her Instagram.
Yeah. You saw it on her Instagram?
Yeah.
And it really helped her 100%, brought her back. And she said they've been able to
Holy
do that with
smokes.
soldiers and all these. They reignite all these, and they can target specific areas of your brain where you're having a hard time functioning correctly.
Wow, that's badass.
Yeah, so
dude.
she got all of her balance back, all of her issues, and you know, she says she feels 100% or close
Man,
to
that's
it.
cool.
Good for her.
But that kind of shit, it gives me hope, right? Like
Yeah.
if they can, well, that's one sort of therapy that they can do. Maybe there'll be more in the future. And there's a lot of hope in like all this pioneering stem cell shit and exosomes and all these different things that they're working on to try to regenerate neurotissue. Really, yeah. Who knows? I mean, we're in amazing times. But again, this is just technologically and medically. Still culturally, we're
Yeah.
goofy as fuck.
Culturally, yeah.
Technologically and medically, yeah, like, fuck.
Did you guys see that they're going to take away the bikinis in Miss America?
I saw
I see you
I
posted
saw that.
that.
I was like,
Come on, son.
Damn
It's hilarious. Listen, they're going to make it a contest. They're not going to judge them on their looks anymore. They're going to make it a contest.
they're not going to judge them on their looks?
Nope. They're not judging them on their appearance anymore.
Holy
I wonder how
They
that's
smokes.
should
gonna
just do a different thing. They should just do a different thing.
Yeah.
But I guess they want the name Miss America. But
Huh.
then, how does Miss America go to Miss Universe? Is that how it works? You don't know? You know. He's got all of them on DVR.
Yeah, he does.
Saved at home.
Fuck yeah.
Wasn't that what the one where Steve Harvey said the wrong person? He fucked
Yeah.
up. Was that Miss America or Miss Universe? That was Miss Universe.
Oh, that's funny.
Damn, dude.
That would
Got him.
That would suck. That would suck. It's just a crazy thing, man, to have
is.
a beauty contest. Imagine if they had them for men. I mean, the bodybuilding contest or bodybuilding contest, that's a different thing. But imagine if they had just a gorgeous man competition, and the guys just walk out and they would, they ask them questions.
Some pale
Well,
redhead. You gotta get a redhead in there.
It's all about eating pussy all day. I don't even care about myself.
They're like,
They would say a bunch of crazy shit just like those women do.
yeah, no shit.
Awesome.
Everybody's just trying to say the right thing, hoping that they get picked.
That's fucking funny.
That's a weird thing, right? That there's
super weird.
It's not
It's very
something that
weird.
anybody's clamoring for equality on. I'll tell you that. Like no one's asking for Mr. Man, Mr. Handsome, America man,
Mr. Universe, yep.
Mr. America. Mr. America is only like a bodybuilder. Mr. Universe is a bodybuilder. That's
Yep.
Dorian Yates, motherfucker,
Yep.
right? That's Lee Haney. That's Mr. Universe.
Yep.
Or that's Mr.
Fuck.
Olympia, right? Mr. Olympia is the top of the heap.
Who's the one with the dreads? The spiraling dreads.
Which one? The
Boom,
bodybuilder?
Mr. Universe. Oh yeah, that dude.
Was he on a?
Oh, that dude was on Fear Factor. Cali.
Cali Muscle?
Yeah, Cali Muscle.
No, Kai Green.
Kai Green.
Ah,
Oh,
dude.
right.
Oof.
Yeah, there's some big ass dudes out there. There's some big fucking dudes out there.
Seriously.
But obviously, look at that.
shit.
Look at
That would
back.
suck.
What?
Wouldn't that suck,
What is
dude?
that? Look at his butt. That's ridiculous. You have to look at it.
waking
You
up
can't
every
not look at
morning.
it. Look at his butt. Make it bigger, Jamie.
Dude,
And
Look at that. Get the fuck out of here. How is that a human's
Look at that
ass?
quad.
And you hear how GSP, how messed up he got for eating all that. Like, imagine these guys' insides. I guess their lifespan's not long, right?
That guy must have a dick like a rhino horn.
Or just a little peckerhead.
I don't know. Look at the size of these fuckers. That is just what. Okay, now here's the real question. Here's my question.
What?
I guess maybe I'm ignorant, but how the fuck could you tell who's better?
No shit. I always wondered that.
How do you
too.
tell? They're both ridiculous. Like, what are you looking for?
Even on each side, right?
How weird is that?
Yeah.
Because like at the top level, when you watch like a Mr. Olympia or something like that, and you see 8 dudes standing on stage flexing, does one of them stand out to you at all?
Yeah.
It's like,
They all
they're
look super jacked.
Yep.
They all look super jacked. Like, look at those two.
Fuck, look at those legs.
Those
That'd
legs
be a
are
weird life to live, wouldn't it?
Those legs are preposterous. Those are preposterous thighs. That shit doesn't make any sense. I mean, look at your legs.
Oh my god.
That's Ronnie motherfucking Coleman. Ronnie Coleman in his day.
What would be your tactic if you had to fight that guy in a fist fight?
Just hang on.
Or
Just
stay
hang
away.
on.
Or stay away.
Hang on.
We got to get to his
How long
back.
is he gonna last?
Yeah,
How long
that's
is
it.
that guy gonna last? You
Not
make him
long.
work. You make him work. How
Get
long
2
is that
minutes
gonna
in.
last?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
You just keep fighting for underhooks. Stay low.
Yeah.
That guy's got about 45 seconds in him.
Seriously.
I mean, it might fuck you up and throw you through a wall.
No
God, I need to get on his back quick.
Yeah, well,
fucking
getting on the
faint,
back,
man.
the problem with that is he will be able to stand up and he's going to throw his body backwards and try to land on you.
That would hurt.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the whole take a guy's back when he's still got some juice.
Yeah,
in the
seriously.
street in particular.
Yeah,
In a
you're
street,
right.
Yeah, a street, taking someone's back, all they have to do is, I mean, it can
Jump
be done,
backwards, yeah.
especially if they got some juice in them. They still have strength. They're just running out of air. They can
Yeah.
have that one big explosion. He's a giant dude, though. He might be so big that if you did get a hold of him, he might just throw you. Like,
Oh yeah, you tossed my little
he might
ass.
just be able to throw you on top of a car or some shit.
Tough.
I mean, how much do those guys lift?
Holy shit, no shit.
How much do they
Owner of
lift?
the bench?
700 squats, I
Yeah,
bet.
it's probably just
700, 800
bench
squats.
pressing 600 for 20 or some shit. Right?
That'd be a weird
Yep.
lifestyle. Just getting fucking
getting
jacked
jacked.
every day.
Just get jacked,
jacked.
baby.
Get jacked and eat all day.
That's a sport though. You kind of like get out of it what you put in. Like fighting's not always. You don't get out what you put in always. That's the
true.
You
fucking
mean
thing.
really put in too, like in the left
Boom.
cheek, in the right cheek. Woo!
Holy-
I mean, that's a sport where you have to do it. It's like one of the only sports where we just all understand you have to do it.
No one's
Yep.
getting hurt besides
How
themselves.
do you not do it? All right?
Yeah.
Am I right? I mean, at that level, for sure they're all working hard, but for sure they're taking steroids.
Oh yeah, 495.
495. Jesus
That's
Christ.
insane.
Jesus Christ, Kai Green.
Holy.
That's a powerful human
baby.
being. And that ain't shit. And he's
at
doing it
that
for reps. He's doing it for reps.
That ain't Matt. What is Matt?
Woo! That's a strong fucking human
Man
being.
attempt 725. Holy shit.
And that kind of strength scary, but it's nothing compared to that like strongman type shit. Do you see that Magnuson guy? That
Magnus Carlsen, dude.
the dude who's on the Game of Thrones.
Megan Carlson. Not the
What's
Czech
his
guy.
name?
Oh yeah, Magnus Carlsen.
I don't know if you're
The Mountain.
Von Magnuson or
can't
something
say
like
it.
that.
The
What's his
Mountain,
name?
right?
I got
The Mountain.
Gregor the Mountain.
The guy Connor was
Clegane.
fucking around with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That fucker was. You see them
character
slap
name, sorry.
around? That was funny.
That guy just
Got it,
won.
dude.
What'd you say, Jamie?
I said his character's name. I can't say this.
Oh. What's his real name? Oh.
Toyota.
Who? How do you say that?
Gregor
How do
the
you say
Mountain.
that name? Hafthor Julius Bjornsson. Bjornsson. 6'9".
Half Thor.
He's 6'9".
6'9".
He's so fucking huge. Dude, that guy's so ridiculously huge. Look at the size of this fucker.
Deadlifts over 1,000. What the fuck?
I bet he has to hire dudes to cock block for him.
No shit.
Just around him all the time going, no more. No more. Mr. Bjornsson must rest. Mr. Bjornsson has no more come. Look at the size of this
no more
motherfucker. Look at the size of this motherfucker.
Head nods. Fuck yeah.
Deadlifts 1,000 pounds on TV. 1,000 pounds, bro. That's a half a car.
It's a big boy.
What the
Fuck.
fuck?
Yeah, giant
That's
human.
insane.
Giant human. That one dude got into MMA and is still fighting.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name? He fought one of the Gracies. Who did he fight? Igor Gracie?
Pujanowski,
Yeah.
yeah.
What's he fighting for? What
He's just
promotion?
Russian promotions
Is
and
it a
stuff.
Polish
Oh.
promotion or a
Yeah.
Russian promotion?
I think he fought
Dude.
for M1 maybe.
He's slimming down like quite a bit. It's very interesting. He's still fighting.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at look at how he used to be up on top. See, Jamie, those two and the shorts. Keep going right there. Yeah, that's what he used to look like versus what he looks like now. So
damn.
he used to be
Man.
super duper jacked, but he's still fucking
Those legs.
stupid strong. Just stupid strong. I mean, but he had to lean up, man, because he was he just couldn't fight like that. He fought Tim Kennedy, bro. I mean, I'm sorry. Tim Sylvia. That's right. He fought Tim Sylvia. God, why did how'd that escape me? I was thinking Maniac, and I couldn't come up with his last name. But Tim Sylvia beat the shit out of him.
Oh, I bet.
Well, he fought Tim Sylvia too young. I mean, he just thought because he was big and strong, he would be able to. See if you can find the Pujanowski Tim Sylvia fight. Tim is a fucking world class UFC heavyweight. There's no video?
No, sorry, I wasn't saying no to you.
What'd you say?
I was saying
What's it trying to get?
It
Dude?
corrected it to Silva, not Sylvia.
Oh.
That's what I was saying no to.
Damn, slimming down. He's like,
No,
fuck.
it doesn't want it.
Just go to videos. Does it have it?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
going around.
There it is. There it is. But Tim just wore his ass out. And Tim was heavy in that fight too. But he just wore him out and just kept beating him up. Tim's giant, man. He's a big motherfucker. But he's just way too skillful. Like Pujanowski was crazy. He tried to just beat on him with his power.
Underhooks.
But good luck with all that. And Tim just kept wearing on him and kneeing him and fucking him up.
He's huge.
And Tim was like super relaxed, paced himself. Look at him in there. Pop, pop, not throwing with everything he's got, just staying on him.
Yeah.
Real pro. I mean,
Yeah,
whoever
for sure.
made this fight is a real fucking, like, a real sinister person. It's a
Seriously.
crazy mismatch.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess Pujanowski wanted it, man. That's what a stud that guy is.
Damn, that's cool.
He's a stud. I mean, he really believed in himself. He feels like he's got that kind of power. He could kill anybody, just smash him. But it didn't work with
That's
Tim.
crazy.
No. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and Tim just eventually started wearing on him.
How loud did you cheer when Randy hit Tim with that overhand right?
That was crazy. Didn't
Wasn't that the
expect
first
it.
couple seconds?
Yeah, he threw an inside leg kick and an overhand right, and Tim was out on his feet. Like Tim said, he was talking about it at one point in time in the future, and he said that he forgot what round it was. Like he was like, it's only the third round, right? And they're like, Tim, this is the last round. He's like, what? Like he forgot a round. Yeah, like he probably was out on his feet the whole fight. I mean, think about that shot.
Yeah.
He gets caught right on the jaw.
7 seconds in.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, hand
Oh,
bomb.
7 seconds in. Look at this inside leg
fight,
kick,
dude.
hammer, and it's perfectly placed. And you know, Tim and him were friends, and Tim was really having a hard time believing that Randy wanted to fight him because Randy had stayed at his house. They had stayed together for a while, been friends. And he was all maybe he didn't stay at his house. I might have made that up,
He keeps a good.
but they were
pace.
friends. I know they were good friends. And so Tim was kind of blown away that Randy wanted to fight him, but Randy didn't give a fuck.
Robert Falls told me he never saw Randy lose a round in the gym ever.
He's an animal. Dude, I was there for Randy's debut. Fought 2 times that night.
Oh,
Twice.
Yeah, he fought
That's
2 times that
badass.
night, strangled 2 people, smashed them. And he was basically a wrestler who knew a few submission holds, who had done some boxing in the Army, you know, and nobody knew anything back then.
Started at 30 something, right?
Yep. I think he was like 34 or 35
Holy
for his UFC debut.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and then when he fought Vitor, that was a really important fight in MMA, a really important fight, because Vitor was like 240 plus pounds then. He was gigantic.
That's insane.
He was gigantic. And he had this huge neck, like his neck started in the middle of his forehead. It was just so huge. And they had written for his like strengths, it said no known weaknesses. Like this is how much of a monster Vitor was. He was just lighting everybody on fire, but he kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He kept getting thicker and bigger. And I think one of the reasons was Mark Coleman. I think everybody back then was scared of Mark Coleman. Everybody was like, fuck. Because Coleman was 265 and fucking jacked, son. He was always like between 255 and 260, somewhere in that range. Jesus. But so jacked. And Mark was a fucking serious wrestler. And he would take you down, and he was going to get on top of you, and he was going to deliver pain. He was smashing people with headbutts, no gloves. And this is the Mark Coleman era. And this is the era where Vitor is coming up. So Vitor gets to like 240 pounds and fights Randy. And Randy survives the opening barrage, really doesn't even get hit with much, and just starts to slowly chip away at Vitor until he gets him up against Cage, beats him up, and gets him down and smashes him. And everybody was in shock. Everybody was like, what? How did he lose? How is it possible? And how did he lose like this? It was a really important fight in MMA because it was a fight where you have a narrative that you think is playing out, and then a lesson gets taught to everybody. Like, no. You got too big. This is all muscle that you don't need. It doesn't help you. You get tired. You need to have better endurance. This is not the way you fight against a guy who can survive. And we didn't know that yet because nobody knew that there was going to be people who survived.
Yep.
Nobody knew there's going to be people with submission defense. When people got caught in submissions, they tapped. How often did anybody get out of anything back then? Like, nobody knew the progression that it was going to take. We learned in that Randy fight that there's a certain level of winner. There's guys that they're fucking mental animals. They just know how to win. They know how to break people. And you get to see that in Randy.
Man, it's sweet. Dude, it's crazy. Like, and then everyone thought, oh, the Machida era. And there's really...
That was me. I said that.
But the smarter we get, there's no going to be an era. But then you wonder with John Jones.
Well, there's a John Jones era right now. I mean, this is the John Jones era. No question about it. If you look at the actual results in fights, I don't care what they say about anything else. This is what people are going to remember. When you go back and look at this era of light heavyweights, you think about John Jones. It's just like... when Muhammad Ali was in his prime, people thought about Ali. When Sugar Ray Leonard was a welterweight champion, people thought about Sugar Ray. You got to think about John Jones. It's definitely the John Jones era. But it's just an era of so much turmoil. And, you want to talk about a guy who had more potential than probably anybody I've ever seen fight. Anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, John does the same kind of shit that you were telling me that you do. He just makes things up while he's in there. He just sees things and goes with it. Like that thing that he did with Glover, that overhook, where he yanked on his shoulder and fucked up his shoulder.
Gracie lock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he ever did that in the past before, but it didn't look like it. It looked like he probably just saw it right there and said, let me just yank on this.
Yeah.
Fuck up his shoulder. John would do crazy shit, like spinning elbows, all that. I mean, he knows how to be loose in there. He knows how to do things.
I wonder Stipe John. Imagine if you're seeing that. Damn.
I can't believe we're going to see Stipe DC.
I can't believe it either, dude.
Son.
I can't believe it.
That's
live.
Crazy.
I'm more jacked for that fight than any.
Brian
That's
Ortega,
a
Max
crazy
Holloway,
fight.
that too.
Ooh, that's right. That's the Vegas card. That is a crazy fight.
Who wins?
Stipe and DC is very interesting because the last time that we saw Stipe in like a fight with a really high-level wrestler was who? Who was that? Who was the last fight where Stipe fought someone who really knew how to wrestle? Who's it been?
I'm trying to think.
Well, he's fought tough guys. He fought Mark Hunt. He fought Junior, who's much more of a boxer.
Fabricio
Obviously,
didn't get to shoot.
Yeah, Fabricio did. I mean, Fabricio got a tag coming in. So who was like the toughest wrestler he fought? If you go back a little bit further, let's see. Roy Nelson.
Shoot.
Roy Nelson didn't really. Roy Nelson. Let's be honest. Roy Nelson could fight middleweight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's just an animal. If he wanted to lose that gut, how much would he lose?
Holy smokes, dude.
He's probably walking around about 250, right? With that giant crazy belly.
My height.
Which is part of his trademark.
Right.
But if he decided to cut weight and just go on some crazy diet and cut out all the bullshit and drain all the fat, what do you think he would weigh? I think he could make 185.
I bet so.
Easily 185, dude.
Easily, right?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh, man. The thing is, like, Stipe's a wrestler. He knows what he needs to do. And,
Yeah.
Big.
we're going to find out, man.
He is a wrestler, for sure, but he's not the same caliber of wrestler that Daniel Cormier is. But Daniel Cormier is a legit light heavyweight who has fought successfully at heavyweight and never lost at heavyweight.
Yep.
So it makes it real interesting. Because
Damn.
Daniel, remember when he fought Josh Barnett and fucking sent him sailing through the air? Josh is a big fella.
And that fucker can grapple too.
He can grapple. He really knows how to grapple.
Damn.
I mean, that's a big fucking talk. I forgot Francis Ngannou and Derek Lewis.
Oh, look at that whole
fucking
card.
dream fight,
That's
dude.
the don't blink extraordinaire.
Oh, shit.
Jesus,
Holy
that's gonna be
shit.
insane. That
Big
whole
Derek,
card.
dude. Big Derek's
Derek
gonna
wanted
win.
this fight. You think so?
I think so, dude.
Jesus.
You think what?
How the fuck would anybody know who was going to win that fight?
Chiesa
Dude,
Pettis.
Go
man.
Paulo Costa and Uriah Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a card this is.
Imagine,
That Paulo Costa's a beast.
imagine the lawsuit Chiesa's got going right now.
I know.
Because I heard that they were going to give him the Habib fight.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's terrible.
So who knows what could happen? He upsets Habib. He gets to fight Conor. Who knows? And he
That's
had to
so
pull
bad.
out. So
Well, cha-ching.
So sick.
cha-ching, dude.
Open up the cash register and let's clean this up, Mr. McGregor.
Fuck yeah.
Mr. McGregor, all you have to do is sign right here at the dotted line.
I wonder how much you
Oh,
can get out of
yeah,
that.
well, hold on. Go back to that other card real quick. We're not done. There's still a few in that card. Ooh, so Chiesa versus Pettis is very exciting.
Yep.
How about this, though? Gokhan Saki back in the motherfucking
Oh, yeah.
mix.
Hell yeah.
Khalil Roundtree Jr., who's a beast, too. That's a fucking crazy, wild-ass
Yeah,
fight.
that is.
Hooker versus Burns, dude. That's a good fight there.
That Hooker's fun to watch.
He is
He
fun
has
to
some
watch.
Gilbert's
shit.
an animal.
Yeah, that's a very, very good fight. Very
Very.
good fight. Well, Hooker is really long, man. Real long, but real physically strong for that weight class, too, man. Not just long, but fuck, man.
And he
That
believes
knee-
in those knees,
That
doesn't
knee
he?
Oh,
knocked out.
yeah.
What did he knock out? Fuck, was that guy's name?
Jim Miller,
Yeah.
Yeah, but who was the other one?
Ross Pearson.
Ross Pearson. That, and he was so. That was beautiful.
nasty.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Nasty. Very nasty. Yeah, that's a great card, man.
Man.
Rafael Assunção versus Rob Font. That's a great fight, too. That's a sleeper.
Dude, there's some good
35.
strikers on that card.
Assunção's the last guy to beat TJ before
yeah,
Dominic
that's
Cruz
what-
beat
yeah.
him. Or did he beat him, or was it like a split decision?
You look at
It was a
Assunção's record
split,
and you're
I
like,
think.
holy
Who
shit.
won? I feel like Assunção won, but
but I think it was
I may
super
be
controversial.
wrong. TJ Dillashaw, then the unanimous decision lost,
Yeah.
it says. So I'm wrong.
Beat Marlon.
Oh, no. That's UFC 200. They fought before that. They fought before
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah, that's
And he
right,
beat
that's
him.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rafael Assunção, Brian Caraway, TJ Dillashaw, 3-down split decision.
Yeah.
So he won. Yeah, that's what it was. So he won a split decision way back in 2013, and then TJ beat him in
13,
2017. Is that what it was? 16. TJ. Well, so TJ just got a lot better.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
He
a lot
improved
better. What do you think about him possibly moving to flyweight? That's crazy.
I don't know why you would want. I don't
Wants
know
to
why
fight
you'd want
DJ.
That makes sense.
Dude,
Fighting
yeah.
DJ 100%
Dude,
makes sense.
I open
Other
up
than
the
that,
cash
no.
register, baby.
You
Let's
wonder
make it happen.
what Demetrius is thinking.
Cha-ching.
Like, fuck.
I hope he's thinking cha-ching.
Yeah, no shit.
I hope he realizes that is a legitimate super fight. If they can
Oh,
promote
yeah.
that shit in advance. Look, Mighty Mouse,
sweet.
I mean, he's technically, for sure, in his ability, he's the best. He's the best I've ever seen. But TJ is the scariest guy that he's ever had to fight.
Man.
TJ goes down to 125. If he could do it and be healthy, he's the scariest guy Mighty Mouse has ever fought. Because he's a legit knockout artist at 35.
Yep.
He's super fast. He's sneaky. He's technical.
Can wrestle.
He can wrestle. He's a real good wrestler. He's got 100% legit knockout power at 35. What is he going to have at 25? You know, I mean, TJ might be a monster at 25. He can really make
smokes.
it. That is a crazy, crazy fight. I love that fight.
I wonder what he walks around at. Because I remember I cut the 25 once and I did not feel like I had power. I fought one time at 25 and I felt worse.
I don't know. He
But
insists
he's-
that he's done it. He insists he can make it. He's said, I know I can make it. He looks smaller than he's looked in the past. You know, he might have been aiming towards it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
working towards it. But I'm super excited about his rematch. The Cody
I'll
Garbrandt
be
fight.
there.
Woo!
That's going to be
Yep.
sweet.
That's a very
That's
intense
gonna be
fight.
so
That's
sweet.
an intense fight.
That first one
good.
was so sweet.
I mean, don't forget, Cody cracked him and dropped him before
Yep.
TJ put him away.
That's
I mean,
what
that
made
was
that fight so
oh,
sick.
it was awesome.
That was some real intensity, wasn't it?
Fuck yeah, man. Those guys were close training partners, and they probably always knew that this was one day going to go down.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
They
And
always
then
knew.
Cody released that video of him knocking out TJ.
Yeah, but the thing is, he didn't knock him out. He
Dropping
dropped him.
TJ.
And TJ was yelling at him right after he dropped, like, come on, motherfucker. So it wasn't really a knockout.
Right.
It was basically the same thing that happened in their fight, and TJ wound up winning by knockout. It really
True.
was.
Yeah, for real.
It was a flash
That's
knockdown.
funny.
They're both animals, though.
Yeah, that's a good
Ramos.
fight there, dude.
And, you know, Cody's going to be hell-bent on revenge.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good build up.
Fuck yeah, man.
See if
It's a
Cody comes back
dangerous
better
fight.
or the same, or who
Yeah.
knows, you know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Damn, I'm pumped for that.
Yeah.
That's August 4th.
All right, dude. It's already 5:30. Let's wrap this bitch up. It's a long time for this podcast, but thank you guys. This is really fun, man. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you. This is always. I've been watching you for a long time. This is awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
for having
Like I
me.
said, we look up to you a lot, dude, and we're thankful for everything.
Well, I appreciate that, but that makes me uncomfortable, so don't say it anymore.
It's
for real, though.
A
But
lot
thanks,
of people
man.
do, bro.
Look, I'm just a lucky person that has a weird job that allows me to talk to cool people.
allows us to learn sweet shit from people
Exactly.
too,
Well,
that we enjoy.
And we learned some sweet shit from you guys, too. And best of luck in your continued path. I like what you guys are doing. I like the way you're thinking. And I like watching you fight, man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
I like it a lot.
Sorry.
All right, that's all right, man. Mine is too. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Sugar Sean. Oh,
Sugar.
give out your social media.
At Tim Welch, MT.
At Sugar Sean MMA. I just signed with Optic Gaming too.
Oh shit, Sugar Sean. See you later. Woo.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Dude, that was